Nothing can stop me. Cause I'm addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way, I follow. No need to say where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all. So tell your good night, 'cause I'll find no matter what, yeah. So set the bar light before the moment flies, before it flies. So tell your good night, 'cause I'll find no matter what. So set the bar light before the moment flies.
Shout out to all you men that are here with this Sunday evening live stream. Glad to see that you guys are here. And all you ladies that dare to tread this channel. We got a great interview that we're going to be doing this evening with a young lady that's just recently moved to Medellin over the last year, Medellin, Colombia. And as many of you know, that's where I live in Colombia, in Cali. We're going to be interviewing her and hear her perspective of some of the things that she's learned since she's been here, as well as what brought her to Cali. A lot of Americans are relocating in record numbers out of the United States. My situation, T-Max, J. Clyde's. It doesn't matter if it's Ronin Travelers or if it's even you. It is not uncommon now that Americans have realized that it is time to relocate. It is getting dangerous in more ways than one, whether it be dangerous for your health, dangerous for your wallet, dangerous whether it comes to survival of food, or dangerous when it comes to the medical system. So others, such as ourselves and MARIAH Sincere, have decided to relocate. We're going to hear her relocation journey, her experience here in Colombia, as well as some of the things that she's noticed and some of the plans that she has for the future. Make sure we're going to be dropping the link to her YouTube channel so you guys can subscribe and definitely support her, because this here is Love Crossing Borders. Shout out to all you guys that showed up tonight. Shout out to all you guys. Thank you guys for supporting by way of PayPal, Cash App, Super Chat, and with Patreon. I'm going to drop that link for you guys too. But let's get ready with the intro. Our guest will be here in less than 15 minutes. You guys already know we're gentlemen on this channel, so we know how to be respectful to our guests. So I don't have to question that. And later on this week, this Wednesday, we will be doing another interview from Medellin, Colombia, with our girl Paola, the realtor there. And so we'll be doing an interview with her in regards to some of the opportunities that are taking place in Medellin, Colombia, not only in real estate, but also in relationships. So let's get ready to get started with the shout outs with you gentlemen. Glad to see you guys here. Hope you guys had a great Sunday. Me and Andrea did. She's spending Mother's Day. Shout out to all the mothers out there. Yes, sir. Shout out to all the mothers, all the moms out there. No matter how we feel about how we got here, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for mom and dad. So shout out to mom and all that she's done in our lives. Whether your mom is still here, whether you don't even have a relationship with your mom, or whether your mom is passed on like mine, shout out to all the mothers that are out there. Now, let's continue on. As I was saying, when it comes to relocating to another country, it's happening in the millions. I believe this is one of the reasons why the Trump administration is trying to tamper with who's getting a passport and who doesn't. So they're deciding to use what's on the books to kind of slow down the momentum of individuals locating or relocating outside the United States. It's not coincidental that all of us are starting to leave, not all, but many of us are starting to leave and venture off into other countries. And suddenly the Trump administration wants to take advantage of policies that are on the books to slow down the pace at which we are really leaving the United States. It's not a coincidence. It is not a coincidence at all. So fortunately, a lot of us have been able to make it out. And we're going to hear from one of the sisters that have made it out off the plantation, as we would often say. Made off the plantation known as the United States of America, KKK. Shout out to you guys. And shout out to David Dice. Salute to you right out the gate, Dave. Dave, salute to you right out the gate. He says to the family, Andrea and Andrea, salute. And to the brothers, salute. Yes, sir. We got Tevin King in the building. Glad to see that you're here as well. We got 29 in the building, guys. Make sure you click that like button. We like you. We really do. Make sure that you like us too. Appreciate you guys. He said, greetings, Andre and Andrea. Happy Sunday to everyone. This is joining or going to join the chat, or everyone joining the chat, and also smash that like button on your way in. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And shout out to Simple Logic being in the building. Glad to see that you're here as well, brother. Glad to see that. What entire nations? What entire nations do we have here? Let's celebrate this man.
It feels so lovely to be here tonight.
It's so lovely to be with Average Man in the building.
Lovely. Everyone's so lovely.
It's so lovely. Here's the Average Man.
I'd like to give a big round of applause to my band, Sexual Chocolate.
Yes, sir.
Sexual Chocolate. They play so fine, don't you agree?
Make sure you guys subscribe to Average Man Unplugged. He does give content that's so great. You must agree. Shout out to that brother in the building. I hope we're having a great time. I think you're still out in Southeast Asia. I hope you're still enjoying yourself if you're still out there, brother. Shout out to Kenny Peoples in the building. Yes, sir. He said, good evening, Dre. Interesting interview. Got my popcorn. Yes, sir, guys. Bring the big bowl of popcorn. Popcorn ready, but I'm going to save it for when people get drugged or robbed. Yes, sir. Because those are some of the craziest content. And Ahmad Milner in the building. Glad to see that you're here, sir. Glad to see that you're here. Salute to you. And once again, Tevin King, always here, always supporting. Glad to see that you're here. And good morning to all you men and ladies that are out there in Southeast Asia. I don't care if it's in the Philippines, where Ronan is, and my brother, More to Life. Shout out to that brother out there. I don't care if you're in Thailand with Richie Mack zooming, zoom. I don't care where you guys are. It doesn't matter if you're in China or in other locations with other content creators. Shout out to all you guys. Good morning to where you guys are located, man. I am having a great day. Written all over my face. I don't have to say a word. Shout out to you guys. And Mom's SpaghettiOs. Used to love SpaghettiOs, man. I ain't gonna even lie to you. And especially when Mom made the SpaghettiOs when I was a kid. Yes, sir. Shout out my boy Celebrate in the building. Celebrate life. That is extremely important to do. Celebrate life. Mariah is a real one. I'm gonna tell you something about Mariah, man. I've watched Mariah's content, her old content from 4 years ago, and I've watched some of her latest content that's been put up over the last couple of days. And I tell you something, man, she is completely different from a lot of the sisters that get passports that come to Colombia. Whatever we go through as men when it comes to some of these ladies and their passports and how they try to follow us and then kind of, tell our business, Mariah is probably the opposite of that. She's more guy's girl than anything else. And if you ever watch her content, she has no problem with interviewing men. She has no problem with interviewing and talk about racial issues, political issues. I kid you not. That's one of the reasons why we had her on this channel. And I'm so glad that we have a chance to interview her, because I think she's going to be doing some great things coming down the turnpike. I kid you not. You hit the nail right on the head with that one, brother. Shout out to Zeke being in the building. Yes, sir. Giving a shout out to Average Man Unplugged. Yes, sir. And we got Zeta in the building. Yes, sir. Hola, Zeta. Hola, hermosos. The family, the friend. Yes, sir. And we cannot forget our Canadian brothers, can we?
I told this guy where I was from.
He said, oh, Canada.
No, we can't forget our Canadian brothers. Shout out to my brother Black Nubian and all you brothers from the northern part of the hemisphere. Shout out to you guys. We got Show Enough in the building, so I know we're going to have a good show tonight. I know we're going to have a good one tonight. Show Enough is here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we got about what? And we so the family want to show up tonight. Oh, when I'm on the camera, the family don't want to show up. Now the family want to show up tonight for MARIAH. Okay, shout out to MARIAH Sincere and Bobby Space Ghost showing up. Shout out to Bobby. He say checking in from Uruguay. Yes, sir. I appreciate that, man. I still got to get you on, Bobby, because I really want to interview you, sit you down there. I've been hearing so much about it, man. Bob, do me a favor if you can. Seriously, I've said this before, and I may have missed on it, but I really need for you to send me an email, and I want to get an interview with you anytime this week. Anytime your schedule is available this week. I've got a schedule already set up Wednesday. Friday, we're doing the Cologne Part 2 episode. So anything on Thursday or tomorrow or Tuesday, let me know what day you have available. But send me an email, man. I really would love to do an interview with you in regards to somebody that's actually there in Uruguay, in Paraguay location in South America, because I've been hearing so many great things about it, but I'm not seeing too many interviews about it. So I like to set something up with you this week, man. Shoot me an email. Let me know what your schedule is for either tomorrow evening, Tuesday evening, or Thursday evening. Let me know if you have a day available right around this time, right around 6:30. Appreciate you, brother. Let me scroll down. Yes, sir. Make sure you guys subscribe to our brother Average Man Unplugged. Yes, sir. I'm going to continue on with the shout outs, but we got our special guest here this evening already ready to bless the channel. Shout out to my man Charles B in the building. Salute to you as well, Charles. Salute to you as well. And Zeta says this. He said, I'm going to Southeast Asia as soon to meet some of the contacts doing some recon. That's exactly how you want to do, guys. When you go to other countries, you want to do that recon. You want to make sure that country fits you, not just because you fit that country. Yes, sir. I'm collecting data is in the building. Shout out to you, brother. Glad that you're here. He says this. He says, much love, brothers. He said, I'm cooking for Mother's Day. Shout out to the moms once again. Yes, sir. Shout out to the moms. He said, Mother's Day for my moms, so I will watch the replay. Shout out to the replay crew as well, gentlemen. Shout out to all you guys that enjoy some time with the moms or the mothers that got a chance to enjoy some time with their kids. Y'all know I got a Mother's Day story for you. I was in Medellin with this chick. She didn't realize she forgot, dude. Yeah. She forgot it was Mother's Day. We had such a good time Saturday evening. That Sunday morning came. She had to leave like Cinderella. I kid you, true story. She had to leave like, she said, oh my God, I gotta go, it's Mother's Day. I said, oh, it is? Well, happy Mother's Day. And she just called the Uber and was gone. And she was a really nice young lady, really nice woman that I met there. And we hung out for quite a while. It wasn't like one of those just hang out and just be intimate with one person. We really got to know each other. Really sweetheart. Shout out to my man Travel Spectre in the building. Or a speedicator. Shout out to you, brother. He said, looking forward to this interview, hearing her perspective. Yes, I love to hear the perspective of not just us men when it comes to relocation and travel and our experiences and our view of what's going on back in the States, as well as what our view of our new country. I like to hear what the ladies are seeing and what the ladies have noticed as well. Yes, sir. Let me scroll down. We got my brother Rafi Lake in the building. Glad to see that you're here. Them Indiana boys, them Hoosiers, them Boilermakers. Yes, sir. Shout out to you being in the building. Speedway, Indiana, Indianapolis 500. Y'all sleeping on Indy. It ain't just about the cornfield. He said, what's up, Andrea, Mariah, and the chat. Happy Sunday. Hope everyone is doing well tonight. Salute to all. Yes, sir. I'm almost done with the intros because we got my brother Uriah in the building. I know I'm doing something right tonight. Here's to Uriah being in the building. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, look. Oh, I got the boo. Shout out to Mrs. Spence in the building. The wifey. The wifey is watching the live stream tonight. Yes, the boo. Hey, sexy boo. Hey, sexy boo. Glad she's here. My brother says this. Salute, Dre. Salute to you, Uriah, as well. And salute to everyone in the building. He say, early night for me. So I had to pop in. Glad you did, brother. And I'm glad Mrs. Spence is here as well. We had a good time in church today. Had a really good church service for Mother's Day. And so I hope everything's going great with the rest of you guys and the rest of you mothers that are out there. Elham is in the building. He said Uruguay and Paraguay would be good. Not too much information about them, about those places. That's why I want to interview our brother. That's why I want to interview our brother, because there are not too many interviews. I know a lot of people that are going down there quietly, but there's not enough information on those locations. And I'm hearing that they are great locations in regards to getting second citizenships, things like that. Shout out to D. Kirk in the building. Salute to you, brother. Salute to you and Dre and Chad. And my favorite YouTube name of all time, The African Wolf. Shout out to you being here in the chat room. He say, what's good? What up, though, brother? You know how Detroit guys get.
You better back the fuck up out my face, goddammit. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Don't play with me.
Don't play with us. All right, we're almost done with the intros because I got our brother in Medellin as well. T-Mac, that is in the building. Got to make sure I send the link to Will. I mean, the link to watch the live stream to Will. Shout out to T-Mac in the building. Salute to you as well, brother. Salute to you as well. Looks like I got everybody. Get past anyone. Got the African Wolf. So we're looking good. All right, guys. As I was saying earlier, we're going to change the music. We're going to change the music. You guys know us. All right. All right. It's not often. Andrea and I, in our 7 years of doing YouTube, we've interviewed several ladies, especially when they first started their channel, whether it was Tours by D, whether it was Afro Wahida, whether it was a couple of the sisters that were airline stewardesses from the States that came down to Colombia early 2018, 2019, or whether it was our girl, Paola Sands. We've always had an open door for women that were building their platforms, especially if they're building in a way that everyone can enjoy them. That means men can watch their content as well as the ladies. That, once again, is an opportunity for us to bless somebody else's content or platform, and that is Miss MARIAH Sincere. And she is just as much sincere from watching her content as she is MARIAH. You guys who have not gotten a chance to watch her channel, she's here in Medellin, Colombia, but she has content that spans back over 4 years. I've watched her first live streams, her first videos, as well as some of her middle videos over the last few years and her last or latest interviews. Every time she interviews somebody, or whether she was just interviewing herself by sharing information, she always does one thing and one thing only. She's sincere. So we're going to bring our guest up, and you guys are going to see how honest, how open. I thought I was sincere. I thought I told my story and I was transparent. But we got somebody who is just as transparent, and she is not the stereotypical passport sis that's coming down here trying to get in y'all business. So without further ado, we're going to bring our special guest up.
Oh, thank you, Andre. That was a very heartwarming introduction. I really appreciate that.
It was true. It was true. And I kid you not, I have actually watched your content and really enjoyed it. Your first video was about how to handle a breakup with an ex, a separation from an ex. A lot of people don't go back into your archives. I went to your crate and went to the old album. I went to the crate and pulled out the old albums. Yes, ma'am. Yes, I did. Pulled out your CDs. I was like, man, that's pretty good. I said, she need to re-drop that video again. That's a really
Come
good.
on now.
Yeah, you should. Sometimes that's how me and Andrea do. Sometimes we'll have a topic that was so good that we did 4 or 5 years ago that we're like, we'll either do that topic again. Like last night, our topic was the 7 ways that could keep you from getting a passport. And so we've done that for years because people want to know, okay, each year, has anything changed, and so forth and so forth. But this is not about me and Andre. It's about Mariah Sincere.
Oh, you know, that's good advice. The reason why I don't talk about relationship topics anymore is because I found that it's very hard to make it in the space when you are being genuine. So these days, people want to hear that either the men are all bad or the women are all bad. And like both sides, no matter how much they don't want to admit it, don't want to take accountability or responsibility for like them. Because at the end of the day, you can only control self. So it's like when you're talking to people from that mind frame, they don't want to hear it. It doesn't get the hype that the people who are just on here playing to one side's emotions get. So I was like, you know what? I'm done trying to help people because they don't want to deal with it in a healthy way anyway. So let me move on from that.
You see, you sound like me. Because I'll sit back and I'm at that point where we all here get a big bowl of popcorn. We're tired of telling people not to be on the dating apps in a negative way. We're tired of telling guys, don't be walking down the street at 3 o'clock in the morning by yourself. They don't want to listen. So we all have grabbed a big bowl of popcorn and look at them for entertainment. So every time they get drugged, robbed, or deleted, there are no tears for them, only for their loved ones. Because you do get to that point. You're right.
Yeah, you do.
And if you guys want to support Mariah and her content, make sure you guys, first of all, subscribe to her channel. We're going to be dropping the link. And also the Cash App is $ Mariah Sincere. Okay, how do we get?
I'm sorry, Andre. I meant to take that off before I got on here. That's just what I have. Okay.
No. Okay, you got it right. You got it just right. Okay. How do we get, before we go into the questions about your past in regards to where you were raised, what brought you to Colombia, let's start off with the name Mariah Sincere. How did you come up with that title for your brand?
Okay, so actually this is a great question and there is a story behind it. So Mariah is my real first name. Sincere, get ready for this, that was my stripper name.
No.
And yes, it was.
I knew about that.
Yeah, well, you didn't know, but your audience.
Right.
Okay, so the reason why I kept the name, I didn't want to completely like divorce from it, was because, so I started dancing when I was 24. I danced for 5 years and like, I did it my way. When I came into the club, I think by that time I was already grown. You know, I had been out in the real world and I had kind of grew up in a rough environment. So a lot of people warned me before I started dancing, hey, this, you know, you might get on illicit substances or you might get lost in the partying or you just might lose yourself. But I knew me enough to know that that was not going to be my experience. And when I went in there, I did it my way. So like, I never scammed a dude for money. I never lied. I never lied and told the men that came in, hey, if you pay me this, I'm going to leave and sleep with you and sneak out the door. Like every dollar that I made honestly, and I did it without compromising who I was, or I never allowed anybody to violate me, or I've been offered a lot of money to sleep with men and I never took the money. Matter of fact, most of the time I was in the club, I had a boyfriend and he knew. But because of the way that I did that job and because of the ways that I grew and the things that I learned about life, like I will forever be grateful for that name. And even the men knew, hey, we want to come to the club and we want to have a good time and we don't want no drama. We're going to come in there and see Sincere because we know what we're getting with her. You know, so the men knew me by that. And, you know, so that was my signature. Everybody knew I was like the sweetheart in the club that was just gonna make sure they had a good time and went home.
Oh man, that is excellent.
Hmm.
Because a lot of people, we already know, they wouldn't have been sincere or had standards or morals in certain atmospheres. And you decided when you went in, you said, you know what? I'm going to go out. I'm going to go in the way I would like to leave out of this career. And that is sincere. And then you went off into the field of, if I'm not mistaken, education.
I did. While I was in the club, I started working on and I had already had a college degree. It's just when I came back, I left and went to San Marcos, which is between Austin and San Antonio in Texas for school. And when I came back, first of all, I came back with my daughter because I got pregnant my senior year of college. And when I came back, the economy in Texas had completely shifted. I remember when I left, the rent was $500 a month in a good area. When I came back, it was $1,500. The jobs weren't paying. So I had a job. I always had a day job while I was working at the club. But I found myself having to do that to make ends meet. And then around like 2021, I saw that the recession was coming because the strip club is one of the first indicators of that.
True.
So I already knew that we would, like, the United States would be where it's at now financially. I don't think it's hit the bottom yet. But I saw that and I was like, hey, I need to go ahead and do something else. So I started working on my teacher certification and then I transitioned into that. But even that, I always knew was just a stepping stone. I did a great job while I was there. My kids had the highest test scores in the district at the last school I was at, but I knew I wasn't destined to stay.
Right. Someone, African Wolf said, he said, I was in San Marcos, Texas. Good memory.
It's a little college town.
Now, okay, is that between Houston somewhere? Where is that? Near Dallas?
It's off of I-35 between Austin, Texas and San Antonio, Texas.
Okay. Now I know where you are. You know, for us, you know, Texas is its own country. And so those of us who don't know, you know, those things. So shout out to you. Okay, let's get started talking about your travel journey. Let's start with, had there been, now I know this answer, but let's act as if I don't know. What other countries had you gone to thus far other than Colombia?
Countries, I've been to Mexico, I've been to Ecuador, Peru, Jamaica. I always forget that I've been to Belize and Honduras like a long time ago. So those are the countries I've been through to thus far. I'm really just now kind of like starting off, you know, and obviously here Colombia.
Right. You know what? There's no use in me even asking this question in regards to why the Latin-ish or Latin-X countries, because you being in Houston, being in Houston, I could see you kind of like having friends and colleagues of the Latin community. Like what drew me to Colombia was in the States, in Tampa. You know, I'm like Robert, who you interviewed. I'm from Tampa. I lived in Tampa 14 years before moving to Colombia. But I was traveling to all these countries, but all my friends were Latin. So I wasn't going to the black clubs. I wasn't going to the R&B clubs. I'm going to the salsa clubs, or I'm going to the reggaeton, or I'm going to dance hall clubs. And so either you had to be Caribbean or you had to be Latin for me to be around you, because I was born and raised around black people. So it was like, okay, I know us. Let me get around this new crowd. So what was the fact that you were raised in Texas, did that have an impact on your decision to some of the places that you traveled to?
Oh yes, certainly. Because like, first of all, I'm not comfortable enough yet to go somewhere where I don't like speak the language, especially as a solo female traveler. I mean, I go with my daughter, but she don't know the language either. Right. So that's one part of it. Also, I grew up in Dallas, Texas, and I grew up in a predominantly Black and Mexican neighborhood. It was pretty even split. And like I said, and I love Black people. Like I love my Black family, But things were, and my best girlfriends now are Black. But like when I was a kid, things were a little bit different in Texas. Texas is not like California where they have biracial people all over the place at that time. At that time when I was coming up, especially if you lived in certain areas in Dallas, it was very common for, my brothers and I to be some of the only biracial kids in the community. And so what happened was, like, I tried to be friends with the Black kids, but they would always make fun of me, or my race would always be an issue. It would come up. And then it didn't help that my mom, she always dated like foreign men. So we were always the talk of the neighborhood. Like, they would make fun of my mom. Like, my stepdad was my brother's dad was from Vietnam. And then my mom's second husband was Egyptian. So it was like, that was something we got made fun of. And the only people who did not care about my race at all were the Mexican kids. So I tended to hang out with them more. And like, my first boyfriend was Mexican. I'd be over their houses. So especially during those earlier years, I was always around Mexicans. I went to a bilingual school at one point. Then when I got older, it wasn't until I got to high school and maybe around like 10th grade, it started to shift. I think people started getting more used to biracial people, and I had an easier time. And then I became a little bit more entrenched with African Americans.
So what is if you don't mind me asking, what is your ethnicity?
Yeah, my mom is Black American and my dad is white American.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I kid you not, I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have guessed either, and I know most people don't guess just regular Black or white. They always think maybe Black and Latin, or maybe Black and Middle Easterner, or something.
I get so much. So, and even people think that, like, a lot of people think that I'm lying. Like, I've had Dominicans like accuse me of being like ashamed of being Dominican, and I'm like, I'm not Dominican. Like, like I've had Hispanic people call me a coconut. You know what that is? Like, somebody that's like brown outside, white. Like, that's what they call Latin people. And I'm like, bruh, I'm not even Latin. Like, I had people come on my TikToks arguing with me. Even I've had Colombians come argue with me about, like, oh, you think you're like white Americans and you're just like us. And I'm telling them, like, no, I don't think I'm a white American, but I'm not Latina. I'm not trying to be funny. Like, I'm not trying to disown my people. It's just, I'm African American and white, and I'm biracial. I'm proud of it. I love y'all too, though.
Right. Is that what you get? Because like I said, I watched a few of your videos. Is that where people get do you think that people get the stereotype? She probably don't date Black dudes. She look like she date this race or that race, but she don't look like she just date straight Black dudes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's just that. I think it's because I'm also one of those people who is willing to like criticize the shortcomings of Black people, especially when I talk about politics in the United States. But that's absolutely not true. I have dated, one of my longest relationships was with a straight up, not mixed African American guy. My daughter's dad he's about your skin color. He's Ethiopian, but like it ain't that much different. But yeah, I get comments all the time saying I don't like Black dudes, or I don't date Black dudes, or they get upset when I say I like Hispanic men too. So it's like, whatever. Or when I say I like Hispanic men, they assume that I like white Hispanic men, but the Hispanic men that I like look like me. Like, I don't, more of on the Afro-Latino side. So I don't know where they get that from.
It's kind of funny that you would be saying this, because a lot of the men in the comments are starting to say they went through the same thing, whether it be because they were biracial. People made assumptions about their dating life, their ethnicity. And so you're not the only one. There's a few guys that have already said in the comments that they grew up going through the same thing. Shout out to Zeta and a couple other you guys that are in the comment section that can kind of relate to that. I know Ronan was talking about that as well. Zeta was saying to Ronan, he said, yep, I caught hell from Black people, and they mocked me from growing up around the Latin community.
I think it's even worse for the men. I think it's even worse growing up biracial for the men, because then they get bullied a lot more, because then their masculinity comes into question. Like, people associate lighter skinned Black men with being like effeminate or less masculine than dark skinned Black men. And then they get into this space of having to try to prove that they're like so pro-Black. That's why you see a lot of light skinned Black men, they won't even date women that look like them, because like they want to go find, and there's nothing wrong. A lot of them genuinely do like dark skinned women, but then like there's another part of that to where they feel like, now I gotta like blacken my whole experience. It's instead of just naturally kind of finding their way, there's that insecurity there.
Yeah, I only know one couple that both of them are light skinned and mixed. I don't know any. Usually light skinned people or mixed individuals, ethnicities usually date darker, whether it be a darker man or a darker woman. But this couple, and they've been together like forever. Really great couple, close friends of mine in the States. But other than them, I don't know any. Yeah,
that genuinely, a lot of that comes, like, you'll see a lot of light-skinned women that won't date light-skinned men, and a lot of that just goes back to like feeling like you have to prove yourself as being Black versus just naturally being allowed to like you. Like, I think another part of that too is just like a lot of women like to be seen, and it's crazy because I think all of this is stupid, to be honest. But a lot of women too feel like light-skinned men are more effeminate. So they feel like, I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody that's like more in the mirror than me, or gets a lot of like attention, or whatever the case may be. All of it is stupid to me. I feel like I think those kind of things shouldn't play a factor into who you choose to date. But that's just me.
I'm the same way. Shout out to Big Brother in Life. He says this. He said, yo, he said, I've been arguing with some of these foods on her IG post when she stated her preferences. He said, some brothers were in their feelings. I'm like, bro, she likes what she likes. It's not that deep. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
so it's so crazy to me. So, okay, on IG, people ask me what I like, and I was like, I like,
I'll get you the solo, woman. Go with the solo.
Oh, okay, I'll tell y'all. So, like, people ask me my type, and I say, well, to be honest, I like Puerto Rican men. But I don't just like but when I say Puerto Rican men, y'all automatically think white Latino, and that ain't like, even then it wouldn't matter. But I mean, do y'all know there's Puerto Rican men that look like me, or they look darker? Another group that I did not mention is I like Virgin Islanders. And I like island men in general. And then when I said that too, they were like, oh, well, you'll date a Virgin Islander, but you won't. And it's like, do y'all know majority of the men on the Virgin Islands are Black men? Like, it's crazy how much people don't know. It's just, for me, it has more to do with culture than anything, because I'll be honest, one thing that really prevents like just Black men being my preference in general, even though I will date them if I meet one that I like and we get along, is the differences in like culture and family dynamics. That's like literally it. Like, that's literally it. I don't be wanting to deal with a lot of their families. I'm going to be honest, with a lot of their moms and the sisters and the aunties.
I can understand.
I don't like it. Sometimes it's too chaotic. It's too much friction.
And my brother Will says this. Shout out to Will. Will says, I said Will, but Uriah. Uriah says this. He says, salute to you, Mariah. He said, I know Andre is going to ask the question, but what made you choose Medellin out of all the areas that you've been, yes, you've been to a few countries. What made you choose Medellin?
Well, one reason why I chose like it was gonna be Colombia out of all the other places
Why?
was because
Introvert.
people asking like, why not Mexico? Since you grew up around Mexicans. I did not want to go somewhere where my daughter and I stood out like a sore thumb too much. And with Mexico, they have a very small Afro-Mexican population. And it's limited to the South where the infrastructure is not that good.
True.
I was like, for example, I would never live in Peru because it's like we stick out night and day. I don't know if you've been there, Andre. It's very like in Lima, it's very indigenous. So I wanted to go somewhere where I could walk down the street and blend in, you know? So it was always going to be Colombia, but why I chose Medellin over somewhere like Cartagena, where I went first, is because of the climate. That's number one. I didn't want to move from hot Texas down here just to be in the heat.
Right.
And the infrastructure. Another reason why I left Texas was because I didn't want to have a car anymore. I was tired of it. There's a lot of stress that comes with driving, car maintenance, and all the oil change. I just didn't want it anymore. So here, I knew this is the only place in Colombia that has as intricate of a metro system that's efficient, that's clean, and so I can do it. And Uber is cheap. The metro is here. The internet is good. The infrastructure is here, is basically what I'm saying. So I think it was an excellent decision.
Oh, you know what? I kid you not. When I first went to Medellin, I was preaching the gospel. I was an apostle of Medellin, Colombia. My country, Medellin, sweet. I kid you not. I loved Medellin. But what made me tired of it was this, which probably didn't impact you. Coming from Tampa and Orlando, I'm so used to, or so just 22 million tourists in Orlando, and then Clearwater Beach, and I'm just tourists everywhere. So I got burned out on tourists. So when I got to Medellin, I was in love with it, and I started to notice this influx of tourism. I was like, I already lived this. So like you said, with the hot weather, that's how I felt about tourism. So I was like, I love Colombia, but do I really want to be in Medellin and do the tourist thing again? And I was like, no. So then I said, okay, Colombia is the country. I've been to a few. So, okay, Colombia is the country. Let me see which city that would best fit me. Okay, Cartagena's too hot, and the water, don't drink the water type of environment, right? Plus you got tourism there anyway. So I got heat and tourism. Now I don't want that. Go to Bogota. So I go to Bogota, big city life. I'm like, no, but it's a little chilly, a little cold. You need a coat to be fashionable. And plus the women are educated, but they're not, they're not just as attractive as Medellin women.
Okay.
And so, hey, I love the intellect, but the look.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
So I came to Cali, and it was like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It was like it's just right. It's not too hot. It has its cool evenings. It is 40% to 50% Afro. So, I blend in the community. It is a large town type of feel. It doesn't feel like a big city. Rush. It feels like, even though it's the third largest city in the country, it gives off a really nice town appeal. It is the sports capital. We've got more bars and clubs and restaurants than Medellin. But at the same time, the one thing that really helped me about Cali was there is no red light district. So Pookie, Ray Ray, Nook, and Paw Paw.
There's no red light district.
We have no red light district in Cali.
Wow. I wonder if that's why all the girls, like if you go to Cartagena, there are a lot of working girls from Cali.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because if you don't go to a brothel or directly to a strip club here, you're not going to get paid for play. There is no streets to go down. There is no, you have to go to a brothel and you have to go to a strip club. And Cali is the type of city where nobody tells you where to go. you won't know. We have some of the largest, most amazing nightclub areas, but if nobody tells you, you wouldn't know. And I think I like that about Cali as well. Plus, we're only an hour and a half away from Buenaventura off the Pacific coast, the ocean. So from Cali, you can go watch the whales every summer as they migrate from the Arctic, from Antarctica. So every year, a lot of individuals come to Cali, not only for the Afro-Colombian Festival, which I know you're going to be in DR or somewhere else during that third week of August, but maybe next year, because we have over 600,000 brothers and sisters from around the world that come to Cali for the Petronio Alvarez Festival. And it's a free concert, free festival, 5 days of free Afro-Colombian concert. The food is not Medellin. It is Black soul food in South America extraordinaire. And so you get from, and it's such a large celebration that they now celebrated in Brazil, parts of Africa, South Africa. And last year during the Essence Festival was the first year that they had the Petronio Alvarez Festival in the United States in New Orleans. They had their own stage and own celebration for the Afro-Colombians that were coming from Cali, Colombia. And they even had on December 17th, 2023 was the first time the Afro-Colombian celebration was held in the United States in Washington, D.C. So that's how large it has grown over the last 50 plus years. So whenever you get a chance to make it down here, you are around brothers and sisters from around the world, no crimes, no madness. And if you ever want to go to a street party, every Friday and Saturday night here in Cali, Colombia, downtown, it's 2, 3, 4, 5,000 people every single weekend.
What? No, I've seen that, and I have actually been thinking about it. Because here in Medellin, I think there's like a huge there's a lot of anti-foreigner sentiment here now. And people don't really say it to your face in the street, but it affects you in a way. Like, I don't know if you saw me kind of getting into it with that girl that does the tours, Valentina. But I think after what happened with Chill Capo, I'm not one of those people who look at certain things and say, if you knew what happened behind the scenes, which I'm not going to get into that, I'm not one of those people, or not one of those women who were like, oh, this happened to him because he was a sex tourist. Because honestly, that wasn't really what was going on anyway. No. In Medellin, all it takes is one person hating on you and being up in your business, and everything you built can come crumbling down. And right now, there's a lot of anti-foreigner sentiment. And I know that I intend to continue to grow my platform, and it's going to cause more eyes to be on me. So I had actually thought about going and doing a long-term stay in Cali to see what it's like. Not to mention, I do miss being around like a more Black vibes, so to speak. And Medellin is cool. The people here, Paisas, are nice. What's up, Tessa? Yes. It's my daughter, y'all.
Oh.
Girl, going on. People here are really nice and kind, but I don't know. Sometimes you just miss being more around your people. And I'm from Dallas, Texas. I'm used to seeing Black people with money and in positions of power.
Right.
And you don't really see that here in Medellin, to be honest.
You get that here in Cali. For example, Andrea, my wife, all her friends are Black. I think she got probably maybe 1 or 2 white people, but I ain't never met them. My wife, she was young. She was in music videos, and she the only white Colombian in the music videos. Like, all her friends are Black, but all of them are educated, career, very famous singers from around the world that grew up in Cali. Black people that you would see on television are, and in politics even, are my wife's closest friends. And so, like, one of her friends was just on Colombia's version of The Voice. And these sisters, that my wife knows, are very highly educated with their doctorate degrees, their master's degrees, things like that. And so it's very common, that whether her friends that are male Afro-Colombian, or they're female Afro-Colombians, and they are very educated. And I think that's one of the things that I'm glad that I came to Cali to experience. And I noticed that here to Medellin, it's a small community in Medellin, to where here in Cali is just part of the community. Like, for example, when I was today as a foreigner, everybody I meet in Cali, no matter what color or race, they're excited to meet me, and they're excited that I married one of theirs. You married a Calinia. You didn't marry one of those Medellin or Cartagena girls. You married one of ours. So that's another thing that starts conversations when I'm in a line in the grocery store. Like today, I met some older people, and they were just chopping it up with me, and we're just talking about everything about Cali and living in the area that we live. And I'm pulling off in the truck, and they're like, oh my God, your SUV is really nice, and so forth and so forth. My point is that you're still celebrated as a person in Cali compared to you're already tourist tarnished. What I call it tourist in Medellin. They're used to tourists. You're nothing new. But in Cali, you're still celebrated because we're in the southern region and close to the Pacific Ocean. So everybody doesn't automatically think of Cali when they think of coming here. And once again, we don't have the Pookies and Ray Rays because we don't have a red light district. Even though we have more clubs, more restaurants, and more bars, they have nowhere to go directly in, like in Thailand, a walking street, or like in Medellin, a Parque Yeris, or a clock tower like in Cartagena, or like in Sosua in DR. We don't have that area. So, and the women here are just stunning, some of the most beautiful Black women you've ever seen. But
this is what I know, because when I was in Cartagena, all of the women that I saw from Cali, when I reported on this, I was telling people, like, the Black women, a lot of African American women think that Black men come down here just to date, just to sleep with the light-skinned Latinas. But that when you go to Cartagena, Colombia, them Black women over there, I'm talking about pure Black chocolate skin, the men be over there choosing them. They do, because they are so beautiful, and it's something about their skin. It's like it's mixed with butter or something. So a lot of the women don't understand when they hear Colombian, the men are coming down here to sleep with the Colombian women in Cartagena. They automatically think what they see on Telemundo.
Yes.
They don't know it's a lot of sisters in the mix.
Shout out to Richie.
Those women that work in Cartagena, them caleñas, they be so beautiful.
Yes, they do. They do. And like I said, and I love the fact that you have a lot of times when you see the Black community in certain countries, they're in Brazil in the favelas, or in some of the up in the hill barrios or neighborhoods in Medellin or in other locations. But what I think I like about Cali is you got people that have come from Buenaventura, from Choco, and they got their education. They started businesses here. You see Black people, excuse me. I think I'm kind of spoiled because I see the progression of Black people through the eyes of Cali, that in Medellin, you don't get a chance to see it as much. No. Like, I really like the fact that you walk, I mentioned this to you when we were talking the other day. I like the fact that you walked into that hair store and beauty salon where the sister was and showcased that sister's business. Where here in Cali, it's kind of like the norm to see Black people got this restaurant, that store. They own this franchise over here. It's nothing new. They own that barbershop over there. It's just a part of the culture. There is no just Black side of Cali. It's like that's where you live. And so for me to live in Strata 5 or 6 is not foreign compared to if somebody lived in Zone or Strata 1. So both sides, if you got the money in Cali, you can live wherever you are, and you don't have to feel uncomfortable. I remember, before we go to the next question, I remember a friend of mine, he been trying to get his dad to come down to Cali, Colombia for the longest. And his dad was not coming. And he told his dad, shout out to Richie Mack in the building, Mr. Zuma, Thailand himself. and Richie loves golf, and this is a golf story. He said,
Okay.
Dad, but they got 3 major golf courses in Cali.
No, they don't.
Yeah, we do.
Really?
Wait a minute, y'all got 3 golf courses.
We do?
Yes, ma'am.
You know what? I just never seen it then, but we
Yeah, y'all
probably
got
do.
golf
I always
courses.
hear people complaining that there's no, you know what? They complain that there's no place like Top Golf, stuff like that. So maybe,
You know what? I'm not sure. You know what? They don't have a Top Golf like that. But a real golf, like true golfing, you've got
They
3
have
major
true golf.
golf country clubs here in Cali, and you've got 3 major country clubs in Medellin. Really nice. Really
Okay. Well, I never been.
Yeah. And so he finally got his dad to come down. And a lot of times, his dad went there. His dad been playing golf since 1962. That's how long he's been playing. His dad got there, and because being in Cali, it was not awkward to see a black man out there on the golf course. And he said it was Asian dudes out there, it was Colombian dudes. He said everybody was out there and just enjoying golf. In other words, if you're supposed to be here, no matter what color you are supposed to be here. Compared to maybe Medellin or certain area or other areas that aren't used to blacks being in certain locations because of economics or whatever it may be. But here in Cali, I think that's one of the blessings that I really like about Cali is I get a chance to sit back and I see them about 40 years to 50 years behind us. Don't get me wrong, but I see they remind me of us as black people in the 80s when we were self-culture, self-awareness, businesses, and how we're going to do this and how we're going to do that. We can grow here. We can have our first black major millionaires and billionaires and things like that. The celebration of black economics. That's what I see in Cali compared to small little pools like in Medellin. Not Cartagena, I see that, but that progression. But like I said, Cartagena too hot to hang around too long. So
Yeah, well, I think what people don't understand too is like in Medellin, it's very much intentional. So this is one thing that you'll hear, and a lot of African Americans, especially ones that come to Medellin, they'll be like, I came here to escape the racism that was in the United States, but like they don't understand in some places in Colombia, it's actually way worse. Like, for example, here in Medellin, I rarely see like the highest paying job I've seen a black person do was a pharmacy tech here. And it's not unintentional. So for example, I had a friend, I have a friend here who's a business owner. He owns like lash salons and things like that. And he was telling me he went to college with this black girl here in Medellin. He went to college and they graduated together. And, you know, she got this company, a major company here, wanted to hire her to work on the, you know, executive board.
right.
Well, they flat out told her, you can't work here in Medellin because the white people, the rich white people are not going to take to you well. So we have to send you to Cali. Like they'll straight up tell them, it's not a secret. So a lot of African Americans think, you know, when they come to certain parts of not even just Colombia, but Latin America, that they're going to be escaping the racism in the United States. But I tell people this all the time. Most of the poorest black people in the United States live better than most black people in Latin America, particularly South America. And not only just that, you'll get an opportunity, right? If you are a hard worker in the United States and you are a black person and you have good sense and you know how to network, you have the gift of gab, white people are not emotionally invested in keeping you down. In a place like Medellin, if you had to come live here as a local, a black person, people here are emotionally invested in not only feeling superior, but living better than the black people that live in this city. And the only thing that kind of insulates you from that, if you are a black American, is that you have the American dollar. So you're coming down here with more money than them, and they can't treat you the same way, or they can't lock you out of certain things the same way they could lock Afro-Colombian out. But if we had to actually come down here and experience it the same way a local does. You would have a different story to tell. You wouldn't feel like, oh, I escaped the racism in the United States. Absolutely not. You would actually probably prefer to be there.
I can agree with that. And T-Mac in Medellin right now, he says,
Hey, T-Mac.
he said,
Hey,
I'm in
T-Mac.
in Vigado. Me and T-Mac and Richie Mac went to Super Bowling. Really had a good time. He said, with the in-laws, he said, but I'm listening in. So the next question I do have for you that's on the list of questions that you and I were talking about earlier, what was it that kind of said, okay, Colombia is that spot for me for right now? What drew you to say, okay, from Texas to Colombia, what made you say, okay, yeah, I think I'm going to give Colombia a chance, especially being a mom?
Yeah, so okay, at the point, I remember it was like the beginning, like January 2024, like we were just coming up on the new year. And I knew I was just sick and tired of where I was. At this point, I had been teaching for almost 2 years. Not just that, my daughter was falling behind in reading, and there was only so much that I could do at home. That's like, we could have a whole different discussion about how terrible the education system is in the United States. But like, I saw me being a teacher of this generation of 16 and 17-year-olds, and the majority of them can't read. And then if they can read, they don't understand what they can read. It's really bad in the United States, honestly. And I knew that if I didn't get a hold of this, that my daughter was going to fall behind and we weren't going to be able to catch her back up, right? So that came into play. But I remember just kind of feeling stuck and praying. And I asked God, like, okay, where do you want me to go? And so I thought I was to a different part of Dallas. But Medellin, like I immediately got my answer, like Medellin. I'm like, Medellin, okay. And mind you, I had never been there before.
Okay.
So I just started researching, and the more that I researched, the more I was invested. So I gave myself 6 months to wrap everything up in the States and leave. So within 6 months, I was gone. And now I am homeschooling. I will eventually put my daughter back into school with children, but right now she's doing so. I wouldn't have been able to catch her up if I had to stay in the United States and work, because now I can work a little bit less, and I have time to structure my schedule to where I can homeschool her in the morning times and, catch her up with her reading. So like, it's going so well. And that's another benefit. You get time back. The United States is so expensive that even if you're doing well, you have to like continue to hustle so that you don't fall behind. And moving somewhere where your dollar goes a long way buys you your time back to do whatever you will with it.
That is so true. And now that you're saying that, I don't know if you've got a chance to see this video, especially as a teacher. It's a short video, but that it's actually going viral right now. And the board of education is talking about expelling the young man who is one of the few young people that has the best grades. They're talking about expelling this young man because he created this particular short video interviewing his classmates. Let me see if I can pull this video up for us. I don't know if some of you guys haven't seen it, but check it out.
Read the ending score for me.
She wore a suit, clothes that were.
Now, these young young people don't realize that it actually says, she wore a silhouette clothes that were extraordinary, but sometimes a gout. I mean, man, I'm having
I can't read that either. Gouch.
Yeah, gouch. Sometimes gouch.
But somewhat gouch.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like. This.
Or gout is not gaudy.
No, it can't be gaudy because that's a Gauche.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But let's take a look at the video and see what the children who are about to graduate, what did they say?
Who's this for? Extraordinary, but somewhat Gertrude?
Now explain what that means.
I don't know.
She wore a
Sounds about right.
sahalat of clothes that were extraordinary, whatever, bro, but somewhat gooch.
What does that mean?
She wore a lot. Wait, she wore. Bro, I don't know, bro. Can you take the card back, please?
She wore a. Oh, baby. She wore a silhouette of clothes that were. Bitch, I don't know that word. I don't even know how to read. I don't know why I did.
She wore a silhouette of clothes that were extraordinary, but somewhat gauche.
All right, now what does that mean?
I have no idea. Like his clothes was nice or something like that.
She wore a. I don't know what this shit say. I don't know what this shit say. I don't know what this shit say.
Now, once again, these are kids that are scheduled to graduate.
I'm not surprised. This is correct.
Can't read it. Can't read it. Can't
Join me for our
Now, that's the end of the video, but that video over the he released it over 2 weeks ago, and that video has gone viral to where he's one of the only kids, and we were correct, gouch, and gouch means clothes that are awkward or awkward look. And he's the only kid that is by grades that's eligible to graduate. The Board of Education is trying it. They actually caused him to not be able to go to the prom. He couldn't go to the prom because of that video. And they're trying to kick him out of graduating because he exposed the school board.
It sounds right. Public education is a money grab. It is a scam in the United States. And a lot of people like to, I don't mean to turn this conversation into politics, but I do think it is important for those of y'all who do have children to understand this, especially when, like, education should be a big factor in why you choose to either relocate or possibly try to figure out how you can homeschool or move them into a country where the education standards are far more rigorous. And to be honest, in a lot of these Latin American countries, the standards are more rigorous than in the United States. So the problem with the education system in the United States is that the performance of the children is tied to how much money from the state and the federal government that a school is going to get. So there is a vested interest in these schools fluffing the numbers, lying, and lowering standards to make it appear as if these children are doing better than what they're actually doing. So, for example, if you have a student right now, let's say you have a kid and they're an A student today, the A student today would have been a C student in 2010. If your child is barely making it, meaning your child is bringing home C's today, I would be very surprised that they're even turning in their work because the teachers are being forced to just go ahead and pass them with the C. So if you have a C student today, they're probably really making grades of 50 or below if they're even turning in their work, is what you need to understand. Most of these kids cannot read and they can't comprehend what they're reading. And the teachers are pressured and coerced, and it's even policy in some school districts that they can't give students below a 50, even if they've never turned anything in. So a kid can go into a class, not do anything the whole school year, and still get a 50 in the grade book. And the reasoning is we need to make these kids feel like they can play catch up at the end of the year. If, you got to give them some hope that they can pass.
Right.
And not just that, it's a cultural thing. The parents don't want to be bothered. They get upset and cuss the teachers out. If you try to report on the kids' behavior, the parents come up to the school, fight the teachers, fight the principals. And this is happening at every socioeconomic level. It's not just happening in the hood. I worked in the suburbs and I worked in the hood with Hispanic kids. My suburban parents were the worst. Another thing is that there's a lot of scamming going on. So what happens is we can't stick with an educational theory that works because you have a lot of these outside agencies who might have a program that they want to come sell to a school district. And they'll approach the superintendent like, hey, we want to sell this to y'all. We want y'all to spend money. And the superintendent is going to get some back end money, going to get a kickback.
Right.
So the superintendents have a vested interest in continuing to reintroduce programs before students can get acclimated, right? And they're getting money, they're getting rich. A lot of these superintendents launder money. They have ghost employees on the payroll and administration. Wow. Meanwhile, they're firing teachers and they're firing lower admin. It's a mess, and it's always crazy when I hear a lot of these superintendents in these liberal school districts, and even some that I work for and I know what's going on, get on Twitter and things and talk about how, you know, the Republicans won't give enough funding or they're trying to dismantle education. And it's like, no, you are given enough funding. The problem is the mismanagement of the funds. And a lot of people don't understand that. There's a lot of money laundering and theft that goes on in school administration.
Yeah, I can agree with you. And Kevin Crawford hit the nail on the head with the No Child Left Behind during the Bush administration. That kind of like started the move of making sure that every child, no matter what, any means necessary type of education, educational system, not necessarily education, but any means necessary educational system. And so I can understand why you say, you know what, I'm going to get back the one gift that I know I could give my daughter, and that is time. And with you being in the field of education, I can understand, like, listen, you like, I know what books to get, I know what lessons to give her, I know what, you know, what how she thinks, and now I have the gift of time to give to her. I can make sure that she's on the correct path to be educationally stable compared to others, or academically.
Exactly.
And since we're talking,
somebody was asking me about a good international. So they have great international schools here. Columbus School is a really good one. And your kid, if you come to Colombia has many international schools. In Medellin, there are many options. But if that's your concern that's holding you back from coming, I would say don't let that be a determining factor, because they have international schools where your child can earn the same diploma that they would in the United States, and it's transferable.
Yes,
they have college exams and all that.
Yep, we have a few of them here in Cali, so you're absolutely correct. My wife and I have been looking at those because we had already decided that our children will be going to some of the international schools here. I mean, it's just how we are. My wife is working on her third language. Andrea is just as fluent in English as we are, and now she's going to school for French because we're thinking about, we've been to Europe, and so we're now thinking about going back to Europe and spending some years there.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
I know we like you. We kind of like verbs, not nouns. We kind of move around. The question that I have for you is, give me 3 things that you've discovered that's a little different from the United States that you didn't even realize that once you got here that is different. And you can use 3 positive or 3 negatives or blend it, whatever it may be. You kind of mentioned one, which is you notice that from being here in just in South America in general, Blacks in the United States who are considered poor still are economically better off than Blacks in other parts of the world. So you kind of mentioned one, but still give me 3 that you've discovered since you've been here. I don't care if it's traffic, I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
You just discovered like, okay, this is different.
Okay, so of course, classism is still very much a big thing here. It's like a major part of society. In the United States, a rich person will be friends with a poor person. If you are a good person and a hard worker, they'll even give you an opportunity in the United States. And that's why, like, when people, a lot of Americans don't understand when people say the United States is the land of opportunity. Yes, I do know that right now we're going through a hard time economically, and it is hard, much harder to get ahead here now than in the United States than it was like 50 years ago or 40 years ago. However, what people mean is that you people don't have an emotional investment in the United States with trying to keep you in your place. If you come up with an idea and you're willing to work for it and you know how to maneuver through social circles, anybody can go from one economic level to another one in their lifetime in the United States. And we've seen that happen. In somewhere like Latin America, a lot of the times, like if you're a person that's a strato 6 and you're hanging out with some 3s and some 2s, your friends and family will judge you. There are people who will literally stop talking to you because you're associating with lower class people. And rich people in the United States don't necessarily think like that, and they're far more charitable. I'm not saying they're perfect. I'm just saying that level of classism does not necessarily exist. I think in the United States, it's more so rich people have to be careful about who they bring around them to kind of protect what they have going on. But if they see something, but they're not emotionally invested in feeling better than you, is what I'm trying to say, and trying to keep you down. Another thing that actually surprised me too is kind of like this whole, especially here in Envigado, this whole neighborhood feel. For example, the beauty shop here still feels like the beauty shop. And what do I mean by that? Well, back in, like when I was a kid, when you went to the hair salon, the women would be, you know, drinking something, we'd be gossiping. There's that sense of community. I know a lot of you men can understand it, going to the barbershop talk back in the day. And because of the way that I think Instagram, a lot of these people, these service providers are getting like these private suites and everything is like a luxury experience. You don't necessarily get that same feel. And what I really like about being here is like I can go to the same places, get my services done. We can sit down, gossip, and drink a tea while we spill some tea. It's still that community vibe, right? Another thing that I'm still not used to this, I just keep my mouth shut, is that, this is two-sided because people down here are really mannerable in the sense that they will speak to you, they will say hi, they will say good morning, and they'll ask you about your family. And that's something that I used to see back in the day in the South that we don't really see anymore. So it reminds me of that old Southern culture. But then at the same time, there are other ways where people can lack manners. So I talked about this in a reel that I did. People will like bump into you here and not say, excuse me. Like they'll bump into you hard and not even acknowledge it. Or you'll be at the counter getting ready to order and people will they will see you there and they will like cut you. And this is a very common occurrence.
Yes.
And I'm like, is this something that just happens in Latin America in general? Because I remember in Texas, a lot of the new Hispanic immigrants would do stuff like that. And then they get cussed out or there would be a fight or, I'm like, maybe this is just a huge cultural gap. But people here do tend to think that what they have going on is more important than what you have going on.
That is absolutely true. I remember, and I had to get used to that fast. I heard about it, about the people cutting in line because my Colombian friends told me about it, but I kind of like shunned it until my second flight to Medellin, and I'm landing and getting ready to go through customs. And I'm kind of like looking at my phone and kind of like space goes between me. I kid you not. It had to be a family of 7 that ran right in front of me like it was nothing. Because I gave a little space. Like I said, I'm looking down at my phone, make sure I got everything I need. And I look up, it's like maybe it couldn't have been 2 feet of space between me and the other person. But that family of 8 took advantage of the 2 feet. And you know what? I didn't get upset because my Colombian friends had warned me, Dre, excuse me, in our country, that is very common. So I guess it's just a Latin thing. And you're right. When it comes to spatial awareness or giving each other space, yeah, they don't believe in that 50 feet thing. They, in Detroit, we say, give me 50 feet. And no, it is what it is.
Yeah. It can be and I don't think I'll ever get used to it. I just know I'm in somebody else's country. So let me like hold my tongue. Because if we were in the United States, I would be like, excuse you. Like, that's not something that I would necessarily let slide. But here, I'm just quiet because I'm a foreigner and I'm not trying to cause problems.
I kid you not, it's the same thing with driving, Mariah. When you are driving, if you give, I kid you not, first of all, if you give enough space for one bike, you gave enough space for 10 bikes to be in front of you. If you give half an inch, you'll have 3 taxis trying to squeeze into that inch. And you're like, dude, but I've learned, you know what, Andre, these taxis are at work. The everybody else that's driving is going home from work or going to work. Andre, you're not. You just going to the gym, man. You can do what most of these people can't. So just my first year driving, I'm cussing everybody out. I got a sunroof, everybody getting the finger, right? And my wife was always like, Andre, shout out to little mama. I love her mama. See, that's how Andre is. She the same way. She'll come from out. And I'm telling you, that love makes you feel good. Like, you know what? If I'm having a bad day, that those little love moments make you feel good. Like, okay, I'm on the right track. And so Andrea, for the first year of me driving, had to always remind me, Andre, you're not in America, but you're not in America. But in America, we drive like, but you're not in America. I know y'all give each other space in the States, but that's not how we do. So now I've learned to read the traffic. I know how the traffic works. Like, I don't drive on the if it's 2 lanes, I don't drive on the right side, because most of the time somebody's parked and then everybody's got to go around. So I don't drive I usually drive on the left. In other words, I'm learning the language of the traffic. So it's not just human beings bump into each other and not being kind of somewhat respectful. It's actually Colombia. And for those that don't know, Colombia in 2026, congratulations, Colombia. Colombia in 2026 was voted the worst traffic on the planet. Oh, wow. India was behind, and I forget the other country was number 3. I know India was number 2, and I think Japan, or I forgot the third. I know Peru was in the top 5 too. But Colombia for 2026 was voted the worst traffic on the planet to drive in. So all you Thailand and Philippine dudes that think that y'all dealing with some bad traffic, try to drive in Colombia. But
it's exhausting. Yeah, it is. Like, that's why a lot of people ask me why I don't leave Envigado, especially during certain times, because everything I need is right here. And then I didn't like traffic in Texas. That's really one of the main reasons why I left. But what I will say, to their credit, for as bad as they drive, there should be a lot more accidents. But I honestly have only seen one. I'm not saying there aren't more.
Because they drive a lot slower than we do. Think about how slow Colombians really drive compared to us. And they do drive slower. The laws are like this, Mariah. If you and I get into a fender bender and nobody gets hurt, according to the law, the police are not going to come. It is our job to do a money exchange. Like, a perfect example, me and Andre was driving down the street. A guy was trying to go around a car. He hit the side of our car. Wasn't a major fender bender, but it was a paint job. He said, I don't have the money on me right now, but I don't live far from here. I only live 3 blocks up. He parked his car, walked 3 blocks, came back. He said, all I got is 250,000 pesos. I say, bruh, keep the 50. We'll take the 200. It wasn't that serious anyway. And And that's what it is. So a lot of guys don't know the driving rules in Colombia. You have to have every year. You have to have an inspection on your car, diagnostics. You have to have those orange cones. That's a must. They will stop you just to make sure you have the orange cones. You have a emergency kit like that has gauze and a bottle of water and band-aids and anything that a wrap, anything for an emergency, just in case somebody gets hurt. And so you have to have an emergency first aid kit, and you must have a fire extinguisher. That's why sometimes you'll see on the side of the road people have fire extinguishers, and on the fire extinguisher there's a dot that tells you what year and what month you've got that fire extinguisher. And if you don't have it updated, like if I have an old fire extinguisher, I can get a ticket. And I mean a major ticket.
They need to require that in Texas, because as many cars as I would see on fire, I saw it was the accidents that happen in Texas are so bad, and there's so many. And part of the reason for that is because we have so many people with so many different driving styles moving to Texas, and we're going so fast.
Yeah. And Texas kind of reminds me of Atlanta driving. It's fast and it's congested. And Chicago, it's fast and it's congested. And so that's the problem, is you got speed along with congested, and the car will come from out of nowhere, those type of situations. But here in Colombia, like I said, once I became more of a defensive driver, in the sense of like, Andre, you aren't trying to get to point A to point B as much as the rest of these people. Let these people go to work, man. And so once I start letting people just, hey, if they're going to get in front of me, go ahead. You can cut in front of me. Go ahead. I know you got things you need to do. I don't. I'm just going to check up, or I'm just going to the gym, or I'm just going to the grocery store. And I'm like you, here in La Flor, where we are in Cali, it is zone 5, upper middle class area. And everything is in walking distance. We got Chippy Chape Mall, we got Pacific Coast Mall. Chippy Chape Mall is where Cardi B, Tekashi 6ix9ine, Kanye West, and Rick Ross came to get their dentist work done at the famous dentist office here.
Oh, wow.
In Colombia. So Cali is very famous for its medical tourism. Very famous. People come here, their last leg of cancer, or to get a kidney transplants, things like that. So a lot of stuff takes place as far as medical tourism here in Cali. Very famous. And the ladies come for the BBLs as well. So I can't deny that.
No, I tell people all the time, like, even if you're going to stay in the United States, don't stay in the United States and suffer. I think one problem that a lot of people in the United States have is because they don't think globally or internationally. They feel like, oh my gosh, since I can't afford it, or I'm going to go bankrupt, then I shouldn't get this medical procedure or whatever done, or I should just let all my teeth fall out of my head. And it's like, if you need like a dental implant in the United States, it's going to cost you about $5,000 to get that work done. For significantly less than that, you can fly to Colombia, get a hotel, and get some teeth back and, get that tooth replaced or whatever. And you're not even going to spend half of that. Like, you're not even going to spend half. You're not even going to spend $2,500. You might spend $2,000 max for, you know what I'm saying? And when I've tried to explain this, but a lot of Americans cannot wrap their head around that. I know people that live in the United States and they don't pay for that high insurance in the United States. They have international health insurance, so that when they need to go get medical procedures done, they just fly to another country. If you're going to stay there, you don't have to suffer.
I have preached the gospel. Thank you, Mariah. Thank you. I have preached the gospel of international health insurance for years. A part of our consultations is the top 7 international health insurance policies and companies that you can work with. Let me get ready to give a shout out to some of the guys on Cash App and PayPal before we get to the next question. And thank you very much for being here this evening. We appreciate what you're sharing. Yes. Shout out to my man Laquan in the building. Shout out to you, brother. With the $10 love over on the PayPal. Let me go over to the Cash App with you, gentlemen. And shout out to my man Ken Crawford. Kev being in the building. Shout out to you with the $20 love, as well as PayPal. As well as T-Mac the other day with the $10 love, and my man Tyler showing the $10 love. Appreciate you, gentlemen, for supporting the media, black male media. Glad that you guys here. And make sure you guys show some love to your girl, Sincere, Mariah Sincere, that is. And you see that Cash App right there. Show her some love. Let her know that you guys are supporting her and her content as well. And make sure we got 75 in the building. Make sure that you guys subscribe to her channel. There should be no reason why we gentlemen, we're not the Pookies and the Ray Rays and the Nook Nooks. We are the gentlemen that got passports, the Blue Book gentlemen. Make sure that she has at least a new 50 subscribers from this interview alone. So shout out to you guys that go over to her content and make sure you support it. I'm telling you, one thing I can say about her, and I mentioned this when I spoke to her, she is not down here to follow you guys. I'm gonna say this again. We've had so many women come down and follow us and then run to TikTok to tell what we're doing in Cartagena, what we're doing in Thailand, what we're doing in South Africa. She doesn't move like that. She moves in a way of just sharing information, male and female, and she does not, from following her content, she does not have a biasness of what she shares. So her content can either help males or females, and it doesn't matter if you're black or white. So all you guys that are used to it, I was telling her the other day that Mariah had just so happened to come along at a time period where all the other sisters and the LGBTQ guys were just, I saw your man in Cartagena and all those type of videos.
I didn't even know that was going on, because honestly, I don't even like, those women are not on my radar. They're not in my algorithm. So there are more males in this space that are on my algorithm, or there are more males, and it's not on purpose. I don't know why it's like that, but that's who I tend to kind of collaborate more with and have conversations with. So I didn't know that was going on. So now that you've told me that, I kind of understand why people, like, for example, when I did my reel on Instagram saying that they were detaining men or denying them entry if they came with a box of, condoms. A lot of men were, to me, irrationally upset with me. And it turned out that was true. There was just story after story on Immigration Colombia. You could see them with the condoms laid out. All they got is condoms, maybe an outfit for a woman, and it sex tourism. But a lot of the men were mad at me. But then when I would go on the men's pages and they were reporting it, nobody was mad at the men who were reporting it. And just, I could not understand the irrational animosity. Another thing they got upset with me about is that it's just true, y'all, that because, like, if you go on Paqueyetas right now, Black men are overrepresented there. It's not that other races of men are not there. It's that the way the Black men travel there is in big groups. And the white men might come by themselves or like a friend or two. Y'all, Black men will be in Parqueyetas with matching outfits. Like it's a whole reunion or something like that. So it's like when you're doing it that big, you are gonna attract attention to your racial demographic. Even if you don't intend to, when everybody's doing the same thing. So yes, they are racially profiling and there's nothing you can do about it. So when I said that, people took it as me saying Black men shouldn't be coming to Colombia to do their pay for play. And I've always said this when I've had an opportunity to explain myself. It's not what you do, it's the way that you do it. It's the way that you do it.
Pastor,
keep it off the internet. Why I gotta come in these big groups? I had no problem with
Pastor, could you say that again for the back of the church? It's not what you do, it's how you do it.
It's how you do it. Keep it off the internet. No male in any country is gonna let you just continue to paint their women as hoes. No man is gonna allow that. I don't care if what you're saying. And again, there are plenty of like majority of the women here are not engaged and don't do that for work, right? But it's like even if you're reporting the truth, no man is gonna take too kindly of you doing that, and they're not gonna allow it to continue to go on. So like y'all have to like start thinking ahead. It is gonna cause backlash. It is gonna cause some form of discrimination versus if y'all would have just kept coming down here being quiet, come here alone or with a friend, and just kept it off the internet. But all the creep cams and stuff made it hot. And I think people shouldn't get mad at Americans like me who say stuff like that, because at the end of the day, when it comes to immigration policy, they can't discriminate. If they decide, hey, we want to keep certain things from going on in our country, so we're going to make stricter immigration laws, that doesn't just affect the men who are coming for pay for play. That affects every American, and it has to, right? So that's all I'm saying. I'm if y'all want to come down here and do pay for play, find you a wife, get you a girlfriend, whatever you want to do, I'm here for it. I've always told people go where you can win. You can always be classy about what you do, if that makes sense.
That's true. I was just about to, because one of the guys said that let Mariah know that this payment is for. Okay, let me put a note in. I was about to send you a Cash App, but because one of the brothers just said that the Cash App wasn't working, and so let me see if it works for me. Okay,
it worked for you. I have curly hair in the picture, y'all.
Right. Yep.
That's me. If y'all say, I know I don't wear my curly hair now, but I have curly hair in the picture.
Let me know if you just received one from me from Love Crossing. $ Love Crossing. I got one from Corey. Okay. And then I just got one from you. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. All right, Elham.
Thank you, Corey.
Elham, do me a favor. Send it out again. See if you can send it out again, because I sent one out. Corey sent one out, and probably a couple other brothers are going to be sending out tonight. So definitely, guys, make sure you support her content. So I just want to make sure that it works, and I want to support you as well.
Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are blessed.
Okay. Question: U.S. versus Colombia. Give me 3 things that you've discovered that's you like, you know what? This is why I'm here. Whether it's cost of living, whether it's the groceries, whether it's rent, whether it is, because I'm gonna tell you something, the pressure of rent in Colombia is completely different of pressure of rent if we was back in the States dealing with that.
Man, I mean, tell me about it. I'm somebody that like was used to paying $500 in rent, and now you can't get that same apartment for less than $1,500. And to y'all that are in New York and California, you're like, that's still cheap. Yeah, it's cheap to you, but y'all have to understand, in the South, we don't really have economies that support that, right? We don't really have the same job opportunities. But you can find good work. But I think the most important thing, and people don't speak on this enough, is the food. And what I mean by that is like, yes, in the United States, I'm just being honest, the food is better. We have more options. The food tastes better. Like, man, I miss some good old Texas ribs. Do you hear me? Like, I miss a good seafood boil with butter and garlic. But the food has so many chemicals in it. The food has so much sugar in it. And not just that, we work so much that we default to quick food options there. You know, it's very difficult. If you're a person that is trying to lose weight and you've been successful in the United States, that is no small feat. Here, when you come to Colombia, you will find that if you come here overweight, all you have to do is eat local food and walk, and that weight is going to fall off. You know, when I first came here, I was 220 pounds, and I'm down to like 185 right now. And thank you. Now, I've always, like, even in the United States, I've always worked out and I've always tried to watch what I eat. But it's something about all those chemicals that, especially with women, it messes with your hormones. A lot of the men don't realize they're eating a lot of estrogen filled food. So that affects y'all as men in terms of your stamina and your energy, and things like that. So that is something really important. Another thing is healthcare. Like, if you need to go get some medication, you're not going to break the bank if you get sick and you need to go get medication, or you need prescriptions, or you can get a dental cleaning here for between $25 and $50. So you don't need to pay for dental insurance every month. You can pay out of pocket for things here and it's going to be fine. Going to see a doctor is pretty inexpensive, and that's great when you have kids, especially if you have kids who are constantly getting sick. But what you'll find is your kids will get sick less here. What's another thing? Infrastructure. Y'all, here the metro system, the train system is not only efficient, but it's clean. It's clean in a way that it's not if you go to major cities in the United States, like New York, where it can seem really, Tatiana, go, where it can seem really unsafe, really dirty. It smells like pee. They really go out of their way to make sure that they keep the metro system clean and safe. And I really appreciate that. Not even just here, they're even more strict about it in Quito, Ecuador. They do not play about cleanliness on the metro.
That is excellent. And you know what? That is so true, because whether it be Cleveland's train, Chicago's train, New York train system, I gotta admit, I'm gonna say something that I have never said on this channel. The cleanest train system that I've seen, Medellin and DR. A lot of people don't know that DR Santo Domingo or Santiago has a subway system, and me and Andrea rode it, and I'm telling you, it is like they opened it up yesterday, clean.
Yeah,
I mean, everything. Probably the trains in Europe, but that's European trains from country to country. But in a city, DR and Medellin were the cleanest trains that I've ever ridden.
Mm-hmm. And I say this: if y'all ever go to Ecuador, go to Quito, and it's hot because it's underground and they don't have no AC. But they will not let you make it. They will not let you walk into that train station with the drink in your hand. Like, they will not let you make it at all. They don't play.
Yeah, I think that's how it is in DR too. And a lot of guys, you know what the funny part is? So many guys have gone to DR, and me and Andrea have been like the only ones that have put out content about the train and on the train. Like, nobody, they talk about.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, DR is the only Caribbean island that actually has a subway system in their major city, Santo Domingo. Santo Domingo. And
I had no clue. Now I'm gonna make sure I ride it.
And they have a Chinatown.
What?
So they have a Chinatown, an actual Chinatown. We went to Chinatown, had a great time, great food, and we rode the train.
I'm ready to go. I'm so ready to go to DR.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be there for at least a month, maybe 2.
That's what we did. A month. Yep. Had a great time, wonderful people. So, and I like how one of the things I like about your content is this, because I'm gonna let you know something, Mariah. You are really, really outside the box. You talk with a political mindset no matter where you go. I sit back and I watch your content from back in the day, and I watch your content for now, and you still talk like you're on CNN, whether you realize it. Yes, you do. Okay. Yes, you do. Everything will turn into a political point of view on your
Yeah,
show.
I try not to these days, but sometimes you can't help it.
I'm with you. I'm with you because you know how you are. And so I know that. And the reason why I say that, for anybody that's watching her content or thinking about following her content, is not what you guys think it is in regards to boy bashing. You know, she doesn't do the boy bashing content. I like what she did with the interview with Robert, the white guy, the other day.
Oh yeah.
You interviewed him. You said, do you know, hey Robert, do you notice the difference between when they deport or send back black guys compared to white guys? And a lot of people who are black would not have asked a white dude that question. But Robert was like, yes, I have noticed that whenever white guys get sent back, they blur the face out. Sometimes when black guys get sent back, they don't blur their face out. And for you to be bold enough to ask that question, where a lot of content creators wouldn't have, those are the type of things that I picked up on that caused me to say, I need to have this sister on our show, because for Colombia, and I'm gonna just say for Colombian content creators, and you being a woman, you are blazing a trail that has not been blazed by a woman from the States yet. Nobody's done what you're doing yet. Yeah, we've had female content creators, but they usually kind of are boy beaters. They come down here just to beat on the guys and talk about what the guys are doing. But you're doing it from the perspective of giving heads up to the guys, giving warnings to the guys, giving support to the guys, as well as the ladies and the families that are coming to Colombia. Let me ask you this.
I think you have to see, okay, I think what the problem with a lot of women, and this is not to like, oh, I'm better than those women, because, you know, I love women. So I don't get on my channel and bash the women either. You know, I try to see the situation as well-rounded as possible. So like, even with a group like the Passport Bros, a lot of times, if you listen to some of the things they say, I told you this about when I first got introduced to Austin Holloman. And I'm listening and I'm like, okay, he's making some points. I can see why he would say that about American women. And then from then I've just followed his journey. I think also a perspective that I had that a lot of women don't have is that I worked in the strip club. And that's why I say I'll never regret my time there, because I got such valuable insight. And then you learn to listen. You know, you can't hear the things that the men say in the strip club and rush to anger, or else you're not gonna make no money. So from that, you develop listening skills, and then you also learn, if you're going there and observing people, that there are different type of men. Not every man that comes to the strip club is a bad man or a cheater and a liar, like I've heard other dancers say. Those were just the men that they were drawn to in the club. So even with a group like the Passport Bros, not everybody is the same. You do have some of the men that come here because they can't get a woman in the United States. Then you have other groups of men who come because it's not that they can't get a woman, they don't want to invest the emotion and the resources at that point in their life. So they might come to a place like Colombia to avoid hurting a woman's feelings and also getting more value for their dollar. And it's like, you can't be mad at somebody for trying to get, you know, their needs met, but also trying not to intentionally hurt a woman. Then you do have those Passport Bros who are married men who, I don't know their situation at home. I always think you shouldn't cheat, you should just leave. But for whatever reason, they come down here to cheat. But then you also have the Passport Bros who genuinely come down here to find a wife. And I've met them. Like, they're not coming down here to do the paper play. Then you have the men who a job might have brought them here. So, I mean, it's so much more nuanced than what a lot of the women understand, because they're not willing to listen or even entertain that conversation long enough to come to an understanding. And I don't think that that's right. Like, at the end of the day, we're all human beings. So you have to be able to get all sides of the story before you form a negative opinion. And like, even for the men who are coming down here because they can't get a woman in the United States, I think one thing women, we do need to stop like constantly publicly bashing them, because it's like, girl, you don't want them. You don't want them. So people should feel like they should go where they can win. So if you don't want them, you don't want to date them, or they're saying, I've been having trouble for years, why should that person stay in the United States and be single and alone if they can go somewhere else and get a better opportunity? And I think that that's better overall for society, because what you don't want is a whole bunch of sexually frustrated men running around. From what I've observed, that increases the rates of violence towards not just women, but other men as well. And that's not a healthy thing for society either.
True.
In my opinion.
That's an excellent synopsis on how you see, and this is why she is called Mariah Sincere. And I'm going to say this to a lot of, if I'm going to say this to you guys, if you want to be introduced to Mariah Sincere, and I mean this, and I've never said this about anybody's channel, not only watch her latest videos, guys, go back to the first one 4 years ago and watch some of those first ones that she made. I kid you not, excellent content. If you guys can, as we men often do, complain about women that don't talk about female accountability, that's not her. From the first videos all the way until now, she talks about male accountability and female accountability on the same scale, as well as political accountability. And so, guys, I kid you not, you will enjoy all of her content, not just the new content. And like I said, I went back into her old CDs, the old videos.
Yeah, I know you did.
You know, with the curly hair. And so, so I kid you guys not, you guys will enjoy not only her older content, her latest content here in Colombia, but you'll also enjoy her older content, and you'll be go like, what? Did a woman say that?
You know what's crazy? On YouTube, over 70% of my audience is male, and it's been that way for a long time. And like, I don't know why, because I would prefer to have a more even mix. But like, it's so crazy. For as much crazy comments as I get on Instagram, not just on YouTube too, but all of my platforms are predominantly male. On Instagram, it's 90% male.
Yeah. I think it's the same thing it's the same thing on Thread, correct?
Yeah. All platforms, Facebook, Instagram, all of my platforms are 70% or over male, and it's been that way. But you know what? The women that do follow me, these are sharp sisters. I think a lot of women, I can't keep female subscribers, even though I would like to, because they get too emotional when I talk about certain topics, especially when I start talking about politics. They're not feeling, they can't get with it.
Yeah. Let's go back to some of the questions that I had for you.
Okay.
I don't want to keep you too late, and then I want to give some shout outs to somebody that just sent a cash app. Give a shout, show some love to them. Shout out to Aaron. Shout out to Aaron with the $14 love, man. I appreciate that. I really do. Appreciate that. Make sure you guys, and Mariah, a couple of guys have already said that they sent you cash apps as well.
I'm looking right now. Let me see. I want to say thank you while I'm here. Somebody thank you, Kevin. I got yours, Kevin. And WMJ. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Shout out to all you gentlemen. This one thing I could say about the audience that we attract is we attract the mature male audience. We attract grown men on this channel. We've always have. It's nothing new to us to have mature men that travel the world, no matter what country, whether they're watching from the Netherlands or whether they're watching from the Philippines or whether they're watching from Africa. We've always had a mature audience. even when nobody wanted a mature audience channel for men. That's why I cheer you on and encourage you to enjoy your lane, to stay in that lane. Understand that the reason why you have a majority male and mature male and female audience, because you come across with a sense of maturity that individuals can say that's a breath of fresh air in the immature world that we live in right now. We're not the norm. Love Crossing Borders is different because it's not the norm.
Yeah, it is different. Y'all's platform is way different. I think just the fact that you're actually married too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the men come down here preaching, oh, you can find a wife, but that's not what they're actually doing. And I say this all the time. Any man that actually wants to find a wife can find a wife.
Oh yeah.
So it's like the fact that you came down here and you did that, and then you're walking in it. That lets everybody know you're not a faker, or you're not down here promoting BS.
Yeah, I learned that. I think one of the things, like when you talk about your past in the strip club, and then when I talk about my past of doing 10 years in the feds, dudes are like, okay, these two people aren't scared to be transparent. So let me see what else are they going to be honest about. If they're honest about their past and I see their present, and if she can morph her life into what she wants it to be, and Andre as an American can morph his life into what he wants it to be, well, shoot, maybe I can do it too. And so that's what guys are, that's why you have such a male centered channel, because men will sit back. I learned this in the feds. Men will sit, if you sit back and you are a positive person, men will sit back and watch you. We won't judge. We'll sit back, we'll watch a man, we'll watch a woman. We'll see what you're gonna do. And then men will sit back and say, okay, that person is sincerely who they are. Now men will say, okay, I got a question for you. I'll ask this, I'll ask that. I want to know this. Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? Can you help me with this? But if men do not see sincerity or realness, men can recognize fake men and fake women. And we recognize a Umar before Umar became Umar. Men can recognize when somebody is fake. And that's one thing I love about a man. We do not lie to each other. We'll laugh at each other before we lie to each other. And
when I tell you, I say this all the time. I tell women all the time, men know other men. So if a man won't lend that man some money, you shouldn't give him no money. If a man, if good men ain't fooling with him, you shouldn't fool with them. They know better than us.
And so your platform is coming across as a safe place for men and women that are traveling to Colombia as well as to other locations. And you being a mom and a teacher and home, all of this shows your authenticity. Just like me, your authenticity with your daughter and traveling to different locations is just as important to me, and to see somebody being authentic as me being married down here in Cali. Then I'll talk about the church, and then I'm always quoting the Bible, and they just see Andre's just a regular everyday dude. And so when they meet me in real life, they see that there's not a difference. I'm not quiet. I'm not shy in real life. I'm East Side Detroit charisma. So they see that, and so that's why guys are. I notice why. I'll put it like this. This is why I am attracted to your content. But I'm gonna say this again. Ain't nothing wrong with looking good. Hey, I'm gonna say this again. Ain't nothing wrong with us looking good. We look good for our stage and our age of life. And so others are like, wait a minute, if they're working on their health, you're always walking. You're always going to the gym. You're always talking about health. You're always talking about positivity. The same thing that we do here. So if they think, if men and women see that you are walking in a positive light with a positive mindset, so it is, and Andre is walking with it, and then the T-Mac is walking with it, and then Jay Clyde is walking in it, and then you go over to Thailand and Philippines, you got Ronin Travelers and Richie Mac zooming to Thailand, and they're walking with a positive mindset. I do it 2.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
it is.
That's true. I seen a comment on here, and it doesn't bother me. I'm mad, but I just wanted to use it as an example. Somebody said it was laughing about the fact that I would passport bros said, "Hold up, she was a stripper," and is laughing. And like, I want to let y'all know stuff like that. And we see this kind of stuff all over the internet. And I think this is one of the major problems with society. People have become, I think because of social media, people have become so judgmental. And like, that is anti-God. If you go into your Bible, and not even just the Bible, you can go into other religions. Like, God did not use people who were packaged perfectly. You have to go through some things to get on the other side to understand what God can do in your life, and then for you to be relatable. So it's like a lot of people want to see perfectly packaged people living lives so that, living these lives like you and I are living, Andre, so that they can make excuses for themselves and say, well, she had XYZ going on for her. She never went through anything or nothing. So that's why she can do it and I can't. But that's not how life works. That's not how God works. Everybody has some type of past. And this is the problem in the world right now with people holding themselves back before they get started. This is why people can't have good relationships, because everybody's so focused on who a person was and not what a person is today. So these type of comments that he made, they don't bother me because I know who I am. I'm secure in who I am, and you can't hurt my feelings with information that I willingly gave. But at the same time, it is sad to know that people really, how you treat others is the way you treat yourself. So a lot of the times, these people that hold these impossible standards up for other people and feel like people should not have ever made a bad decision, which I'll be honest, I didn't feel like I made a bad decision working in the strip club. I did it my way. But just in general, people had a bad decision or they came back came up from a rough upbringing. We feel like we should hold that over their head. And like the way God works, that's the testimony. Stuff like that used to be a testimony, right? And it still is the testimony. You just need to work within yourself so that you can be able to see the God in that situation. And I promise you, once you start looking at things like that through that perspective, your whole life and the way that you relate to people in general is going to shift.
Okay. I want you to respond to his part 2. Now, but before we go any further, because the only reason I pulled that up, because I know you're like me. Whenever there's a troll, I don't run from trolls. Or I'll go in on trolls. And so I'm like you. That's the only reason I pulled up the part 2. I don't think that this is Aaron, Passport Bros founder, my brother Aaron Ferris. Shout out to Aaron, because Aaron is happily married, just got married over the last 6 months and just had a child in the Philippines. So this is not Aaron. I don't know who's using the logo and saying Passport Bros, but even when Aaron pops up, he does not have Passport Bros as his title. So somebody's using his logo, but that is not Aaron of the Passport Bro movement in the Passport Bro app. And Aaron doesn't talk like that. And I've been knowing Aaron, and we've done several interviews together. And I just want to let you know, if any point in time you see a logo like this is not him. This is not the founder of the Passport Bro movement or the Passport Bro statement, the brother that actually owns the term, that actually has a literal Passport Bro app that men can use. And so I just want you to know that if this pops up again in the future on your channel, don't think that's him, because Aaron doesn't talk like this.
Yeah. I mean, it's no harsh feelings toward that person. I just take this as, he's making assumptions because he doesn't know me. But this comment right here, she has a male-centered channel because she's manipulative. That doesn't even make sense. if I wanted to, first of all, I didn't come on here with the intent to say, oh, I want most of my following to be men. If I really wanted to go that route, do you know how easy it would be for me to get on here like a lot of these women do? This is the quickest way you can make money on social media and get a male audience, is to get on here and constantly bash women and act like the men don't do anything wrong. And there are a lot of channels that are big and making money off of that. Do you think I don't know that I could get on here and do that? I choose not to do that. So you can see it as manipulation. I've been my authentic self the entire time, and I know exactly what I need to do in order to have way more followers than what I do, or to have men constantly sending me money because I'm bashing women. I have chosen not to go that route because that's not authentically me. But you're free to think what you want to think.
All right, cool. But somebody says shout out to Aaron, and Mariah is genius. And another thing that I caught up about you, I'm exposing all the stuff that I kind of sit back and I kind of like watch the little things about you, because I've been watching content creators so much throughout the years that I know who is who, and immediately. And I noticed your intellect immediately. So when you said, well, I used to teach, I was like, that explains everything. Immediately, how you are, I sit back and watch how you are methodical with your statements. You know exactly what you just said. And so I'm like, wait a minute, this is not coincidence. She's not just one of those LaQuishas that's out there. And I'm not trying to hype you up. So any of you guys that think, well, Andre's kind of hyping his sister up. I'm not. I just noticed something. You guys know that we've been in this game for 7 years. We told y'all we're going to give y'all 10 years. We have interviewed people from all walks of life, from the O'Shea Duke Jacksons to the Angry Mans, Dennis Sperlins, and all the content creators out there, right? So you guys already know that after 7 years of doing this, I can kind of recognize immediately, at least in this field, who's serious, who's gonna blow up, who's faking, because you just kind of know. I can't explain it, but some of you guys are mechanics and you guys know vehicles better than anybody, and nobody can tell you about a vehicle. That's how I am when it comes to content creating. I spend so many years and so many hours in this, I can kind of watch and see this person is doing this because of that. I can see it in their tone. I can see it in their first video to last video. That's why with Mariah, I could say I've watched her original content, her middle content when she was talking about politics, and her travel content. Because I'm one of those people, I don't just watch a person, I watch a person. And a lot of you guys are like me. So shout out to you guys over on that's following tonight and Super Chats. But I don't think that's Aaron, man. I really don't, because Aaron, I've never heard Aaron talk like that. But let's scroll down, because I got to make sure I get to the Super Chats as well. I don't want to miss out on the guys that have sent Super Chats. He says, sincere, you have found a solid international school in Medellin, or what type of school does she attend? Asking as a parent.
Yeah, so there are good international schools here. My daughter just hasn't attended it. So Columbus School is like the best one. They teach in English predominantly, and the diploma is like getting a diploma from the United States. What my daughter does right now, though, is she does a homeschool program called Always Ice Cream. It's like the girls' version of Mia Academy. And what I like about this program is that they provide the curriculum, and you can tailor the curriculum based on where your child is falling short. And they have the homework packets available. So all the lessons are planned out with all the schoolwork and the homework packets. And then she can go in there and do all of her tests online, and it keeps a grade book for you. So you don't have to worry about that part. And they also have like videos to teach the kids an explanation. So basically you go in and you fill in those gaps and do like those extra activities that they need to do with the parent.
It's almost sounds like the type of programs that were around when kids were at home during COVID, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they are. It's just a little bit, it's a lot more structured. So
Right.
they also have an online international school. Who was asking that? There is an online international school called International Schooling. If you want to keep your kid at home, or if you're somebody who likes to travel a lot and you want to bring your kid. And again, this is a situation where they get a diploma that is transferable to the United States. They keep track of their credit, and they will actually have teachers that come and teach their lessons. And so I believe if you have like an elementary school kid and you want them to do group lessons, it's about $1,300 for the year. And if you want them to do one-on-one lessons, it's about $1,600 for the entire year, which is not bad. They also have international high school as well. So there are options. There are a lot of options. And that school is called International Schooling. It's very easy to remember.
All right, international schooling. Uriah also says this. Salute to you, Mariah. He said, I know Dre is going. Oh, we did this one. I know Dre's going to ask this question. We went through that one already. Let's go down here to, let's see. Oh yeah, that was Growth. That was Kofa that was asking that question about the schools. All right, let's go to our brother Perception is Reality. Shout out to you being here, brother. He said, I'm noticing many countries outside of the US serve you in portions when it comes to food. When I lived in Dallas, Texas, you get served 2 plates in one. Laugh out loud, chicken and waffles.
But look, as much as you pay for the food, they better serve you 2 plates. You better be able to eat off of that plate for a good 2 or 3 days. But yeah, the portion size is a problem now. They serve you a lot of food here in Colombia too. You got to think about it. If you go do a menu del dia, you're going to get a bowl of soup, some rice, a salad, a banana, a protein. You're going to get a lot of food too. I just think that the lack of chemicals is what makes it. But you can't, honestly, if you are overeating here too, or eating too much fried food, your weight can go back up here. If you're eating out all the time, because y'all gotta understand, they eat a lot of empanadas and buñuelos and stuff like all that bread and starch, a lot of rice. So don't get me wrong, you're gonna get to a certain point in your health journey here where you have to diet down. So you might come here and lose a lot of weight, but then you're gonna come to a point where if you haven't been working out and you're not cutting out all that starch, where you're gonna hit a plateau here and you're gonna stop losing weight. True. So just keep that in mind. The food here is healthier, but you can gain weight or you can have a plateau in your weight loss journey if you don't become more intentional with your weight loss.
All right. And my man, men supporting men in the building. He says this. He said, New York has the cleanest trains. I'm just kidding. And Perception is Reality says this, and I'll be going to the cash apps in a second, gentlemen. He says, I keep telling people here in the States, many of these former third world, I like how you put that. These former third world countries are now developing. Absolutely correct. This isn't the 80s and the 90s anymore.
It's not. It's
some
not.
Of the beautiful malls.
And I say that all the time. I've never referred to Colombia as the third world. It is the developing nation. It is. That's not me trying to be politically correct. It just is a developing country.
That is so true. And Perception says this as well. He says, funny, Andre, when Obsidian, the fellow YouTuber, and others mention you and other brothers married abroad, the divestors say, who are they? And it's crickets after. And it's kind of funny because when it comes to hearing that, when it comes to relationships in another country, those of us who are in serious relationships is really kind of quiet. I'm
That's
rare
true.
because I'm behind a microphone. If I was not behind a microphone, you guys wouldn't know me and Andrea's relationship. I know so many guys in this country, Black, white, Latin, that have immigrated, in other words, to this country, that are in solidified relationships that you won't see them. Like I always say, some of you guys I don't see for 3 years. You're married, you got kids, you send me photos of the kids all the time, and I will we in the same city, and I will run across you 3 years later, and we'll chop it up as if we hadn't seen each other in 3 days. I got a brother down here, ex-Navy brother, Kenny. Kenny's on the south side of Cali, really nice. Kenny and his Venezuelan girlfriend has been together for 4 years. They started 2 businesses together, doing great. They started a barber shop on the other side and a beauty salon on the other side of Cali. And they're doing, I don't see Kenny all the time, unless I get in the truck and drive over there and hang out with Kenny and his girl. I don't see them all the time. So one of the things that you'll notice that when it comes to, and I'm just talking to the audience, the best guys that come down here and the best women you come down here normally are not like me and Mariah behind microphones.
Yeah.
The Pookies and the Ray Rays, they're always behind a microphone. But those who are serious and down about our relocating, you don't see us that often. Go ahead, Mariah. I'm sorry.
No, well, first, I never understand the divestors because I feel like, girl, if you divested and divest, why are you still talking about these men? But to your point, I do think that y'all don't have high enough visibility. So you kind of have to see it from a woman's perspective as well, fellas. If you have a whole bunch of men on the internet saying, we are leaving the United States because the women there are not fit, feminine, and friendly, and the women overseas are, and we're looking to find a wife, then you have to, it doesn't make sense that when these women go on the internet, we see these same dudes who claim that the women are fit, feminine, and friendly, but all you post is content of you running through these women and mistreating them. And you're sleeping with a whole bunch of women in one country and then going to the next country and doing the same. So you have to understand why women would be like, well, then what's the point? What's the point? If you're saying this is what you want, but then you're going overseas and still taking that same behavior over there and mistreating the women, they're getting the same results, then what's the point? But to your point, Andre, a lot of the women don't get the opportunity to see the men who actually did come find a wife, because most of those men, like I've met them here in Medellin, and they're actually like genuinely good dudes, and they might have some type of business. And guess what? They're not married to the woman who they found in Parquilleras that was like a perfect, Barbie, got all this plastic surgery. They're married to the cute girl or the girl who you know what I'm saying, the more wifely type. They're married to the more, so it's like, it's not what the men are selling to the men is unrealistic too. And then what the women are seeing is not matching up. So it's not making sense. From, if you're in the United States and seeing all of this from that perspective, what's going on down here is absolutely not making sense. You'd have to come over here and come on the ground to actually see what's going on, just to be honest. But yeah, I think that's the main disconnect. I think too, a lot of the women in the United States, they need to be more understanding, because again, like the men that I have met here, a lot of men that I have met here who do have a wife, I can see why, like if they're like the nerdy type of black guy,
right?
I'm like, yeah, I can see why he probably has some issues in the United States, just because our culture pushes an image of what black masculinity looks like. So I get it. I understand. But yeah, I do want the ladies to know it's not all. Now, are y'all in the minority? For sure. The ones who are genuinely coming looking for wives, or not even looking for wives, just coming to start a new life, of course you're going to date who's around you. And build a life where you're at. I think y'all are in the minority in terms of representation for sure. And it's really unfortunate, I think.
That's an excellent point. That is an excellent point. And I would say that for even the ladies, I have met ladies that have come down here to Cali, found the guy that they were looking for.
Yeah.
But you don't see them on camera.
No, I think I'm in the minority.
Talk to them all. Yeah. But and so a lot of times guys think that women can't come down here and find quality.
No. Another thing here too is that this is something I've noticed about Colombia. They like Black women a lot here. Like even if you look like me, now they like chocolate, they like all that. As soon as I walk out my door, y'all, they breaking their necks. And they make it clear. They like, like they're breaking they like Black women a lot. I think I'm in the minority of women that I meet because most of the women who I know that have come down here single, they get a boyfriend here so fast. And I think it's just how I am. I'm not really focused. I don't get on Tinder. And I'm not really focused on relationships. I don't romanticize relationships too. And I'm not a person who I need to be sleeping with somebody. Like I'm even I was like this in the United States. And I'm more afraid of getting into a toxic relationship than being alone. So I am rare in terms of a gringa who has been here for a while and no boyfriend, and I don't go on dates or anything like that. But most of these women down here, they're married, they got a boyfriend, they done had kids. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't have a kid here by a man. I'm just being honest because the laws aren't, if for whatever happened, the laws are not favorable to the women. There are women here who have had kids by men, and if they want to, and the man has left, nowhere to be heard from. Single motherhood rate is high over here, and if they want to go travel with their kids, they can't leave the country without that man's permission, even though they've never seen that man. The child ain't never seen that man. So you're stuck here, and I think a lot of the women don't understand these laws down here. But I do because I'm very thorough. So I'm not quick to get into anything.
but you know something, you sound like me in the sense of I didn't leave America because of relationships or people in what was going on in the States as far as being intimate. I left America because of opportunities that I saw that were better outside of the States. And so I was not in a rush to find a woman or get with a woman or I had my fun times, but as far as seriousness, I was in a rush. I was in a rush. I ain't gonna lie, I was in a rush to enjoy other countries far more than I was in a rush to enjoy the women of other countries on my part. Now, some of you guys might be different. Y'all came to Colombia or Brazil because of the ladies. I get that. But as for Andre, I didn't. I was not in a rush. I could have waited. Dude, I could have waited 2-3 years to even be serious with somebody. I'd have been cool because I was at so much peace being outside of the United States and off the plantation that peace would have been more than a blessing than just running through chicks. I did all that in the state. And it's kind of funny that you would say this earlier, Mariah, that there are men that left the United States because if they were there, and I'm paraphrasing, they weren't doing anything but running through women. That was me. And I tell women in the States all the time when I speak directly into the camera, the best thing that ever happened to the United States is that many of us black men got passports because we moved to other countries that opened up the doors that introduced us to somebody that we could be serious with. If I had stayed in the States, I'd have ran through another 500 of y'all easy.
Why do you think that? Why do you think you would have continued on that path if you would have stayed in the United States versus like moving abroad?
Because the United States is wired, and that's a good question, because the way that the United States is wired for men and women, no matter what ethnicity or race, the United States at this point in time in its history is wired for everybody to, male and female, sex and sexiness. I can be sexy to a female, she can be sexy to me. I can offer sex to a female and she can offer sex to me. And it's so easy to do for so many of us that if I stay in the States, I know, and I tell people this about me, I kid you not, right? This might be the first time you've heard this. Ask me all the time, dude, you are in South America among all them gorgeous, beautiful women in the gym, at church, dude, you ain't cheating with nobody, Drake? Nobody? The reason why is because I tell the guys all the time, and I'm gonna get back to the super chats and the cash apps as well, guys. I tell guys, to thyself be true. I know Andre, I'm not cheating with one. I'm cheating with 51, 61, 71. So Andre, do you have time, being honest with Andre, for 71 extra women? Oh, you don't? Then don't even start something that you know there is no one side chick. You ain't wired like that. Some guys are wired like, I got this one side chick. Dre, you like the Hulk. You smashing everything you put your hands on. And since I know that that's not, in other words, I take the pressure of, I'm in love with Andrea, I'm in love with Andrea, I'm in love with Andrea. I take the pressure off of my wife, Andrea, to be the reason why I'm faithful. And I
come on now
on me. I say, I don't even put it on I love my wife, I love my wife, I love my, no, that don't work. That don't work. Men can cheat and love their wife, love their girlfriend. Andre, be honest. Would you even have one side chick? No. Do you have time for the numbers that you know that you would accumulate? No. Do you have time to have all those 70 women in your phone? No. Do you want 70 extra women in your phone? No. So since you're being honest with yourself, Andre, I see them all the time. I would smash that. Ooh, I would love that. Ooh, she's sexy. That's as far as I go. Everybody know my motto. I don't cheat, I dance. You know, I'm in Cali, the capital of salsa music. So if I see something sexy, we go into the dance floor, and that's as far as it's gonna go. I love to dance. So I'm dancing, bam. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you. And I'm going about my business, enjoying my cerveza. But I'm not one of those guys that sit back and lie to myself. Yeah, I'm gonna have this one side. I'm gonna do it one time, and I ain't gonna do it no more. I'm gonna just do it this once, maybe once a year. No, that ain't Andre. No, you ain't. You ain't gonna do it once a year, Andre. So stop lying. And then, you know, walking to my Christian walk. Okay, is this a part of your Christian walk? Now you got 70 extra chicks in your phone, and you and your wife in church holding hands and praising the Lord, but you got 70. You hope your phone don't buzz in the middle of church service. Come on, Dre. You've been there, done that. It ain't you. So don't rinse and repeat. It didn't work in the States where you could get easy sex. Don't bring that mentality to other countries, Andre, assuming that what American women would allow, even if you were married, doesn't mean that you need to walk in that. Even in South America, they might allow it. Doesn't mean that you
wait, because hold on, that's what I wanted to say. So I don't know if the culture is different in Cali, but in Medellin, it's way easier to get sex
it is
than in the United States. So I'm like, I think if a man was like cheating in the United States and then you came to Medellin, like, I think that behavior, unless you were just really determined, would just multiply, because it's a whole different, like, I'm telling you now, a lot of these women down here, they'll sleep with their sister's husband. They'll sleep with their daughter's husband. Like when these women want what they want, they will do whatever it takes. And I think it's like way more extreme than in the United States. Even like I've talked to Colombia, I've heard so many different, like when you actually talk to like the Colombian men, so I hear different perspectives. And honestly, I feel like it really just depends on the man, their dating experience down here. Cause I've talked to so many men here in terms of like just interviewing. What's up? Come here.
Can you come here real quick?
What do you need?
I need you.
Hold on. Let
No,
me meet this.
No, go ahead. I'll say this, guys. As you guys know, I often say this just to confirm what Mariah was saying. I get approached by women all the time. I'll say this again. You know, when you become the Lord of the Ring, women notice. I get approached women in Colombia, and I don't mean just Medellin, I don't mean just Cali, I don't mean just the big cities, I don't just mean the small towns. It is in the thread of the community. It is embedded on the blanket of this country. Everybody got somebody on the side, bruh.
It's a lot of cheating, the men and women.
A lot of cheating in this country.
It's a lot of cheating. T-Mac says non-pay-for-play women don't usually do one-night stands. Let me tell you, again, this is just for me talking to local men about these type of situations. They talk about how when the women want something or they want to achieve an objective, they'll hold out for you. But it's like the same women that make y'all wait, these local men are having one-night stands with women that aren't prostitutes. When they see it as abnormal if you're not willing to have a one-night stand with them, at least here in Medellin. So I don't think it's just the non-pay-for-play women that the pay-for-play women that are doing it. No, how the women treat the local men is way different than what y'all get when y'all come down here. They doing one-night stands down here for sure.
That's what a partner of mine said to me. My man Doug that owned he owned a restaurant bar down here called Rico Richie's for a while, and he told me that, you know, he and I were in a conversation, and he told me, he said, Dre, he said, the more you become kind of like jail with the locals here in Cali, he say, the faster you a guy, he was just describing himself. He wasn't talking about me, but he was saying the faster and easier it is that you will get that one-night stand or that two-night stand. And he said, and the crazy part is you're waiting for them to be upset about it was a one-night stand. And a lot of them just go with the flow.
Yeah, it's like normal. It's normal. It's like normal. I remember a couple times that I did, give some guys my phone number. I stopped talking to them because they would immediately, like first day, they're asking for a nasty picture. And then like when I would complain to the local women that this is happening, they look at me like, well, what's wrong? What's the problem? You know what I'm saying? They're looking at me like that's just, and they're telling you have to change. The culture is different down here than in the United States. And I'm not saying all the women are like that, but that's way more common here. So it's a very different ball game. And I think y'all have to spend more time around the local men and let them tell y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all something. The same things y'all complain about with the women in the United States, I have had local men tell me. Like I had this friend, tall, handsome Colombian, has his own shop, taught himself English. A good guy. He started in the hood, and he bought a shop down here in Indigalo, and now he's like getting ready to go work for an American company. So like by all accounts, he should be considered like the cream of the crop down here. And again, good looking, tall, which is rare here in Medellin. And he says the same thing. He's like, the women here only like thugs. The women here only like bad guys. The women here cheat a lot. or the women here run game a lot. And you're looking at this man who should have absolutely no problems, and he's saying the exact same things that American men are saying. A lot of the men complain that the women don't want to cook like the women back then did, or don't want to do the same things for them that, especially this Gen Z generation, they're making the exact same complaints. Y'all got to spend more time around the local. Go follow Colombian guy here on YouTube. He says it all the time that these women are not traditional in the way y'all are promoting it, especially the younger generation. I think they're nicer. I will say that. I do think the women here are kinder, just in general. You'll have more pleasant day-to-day experiences with them.
It's amazing that you would say that, because Andrea, my wife, she says the exact same thing about the generation under her. Andrea's millennial, but Gen Z can't cook, can't clean. They want you to spend on them, but they aren't willing to be faithful. They're not willing to be focused. I get hit on. It's kind of crazy because Colombia, they really ain't tripping on age. I get hit on by more Gen Zers than millennials or Gen X. I'm Gen X, and I get hit on. I've literally had Gen Z try to buy me a drink in bars. I had one Gen Zer, and I mentioned this before on the show, before we get to the super chats and back to the Cash App. I had one Gen Zer actually buy me a drink. Quite obviously didn't notice the ring, and I was like, "Thank you very much." And she before I walked away, because I was just happened to be standing at the bar where she was, and I was ordering me a drink. She was like, I'll pay for it. And I was like, "Oh, she's very beautiful." And she turned to me and said, I guess she did notice the ring. She said, "I noticed that you are married, and I know how to play my position."
Wow.
And I was like, what? Now, 90% of dudes would have rolled with it. The old Andre in the States would have definitely rolled with it. But because I realized being honest, one of her wouldn't feed the type of cheating appetite I have, once again, to thyself be true, the type of cheating appetite that I have, I'm thinking like, "Lil Mama, you would have been a snack. You would have been an entree. You would be the hors d'oeuvres. You would be the introduction. You would be a sample meal at Costco's or at PriceSmart. Because if I lay down with you, I'm laying down with 71, 60, and I know myself. I know I'm so Dre the Ripper that if I do something, it ain't gonna be nice for Colombia. And so I'm more or less like, and plus here's the part that gets me. I'm happy for all the single men and women that are enjoying their lives out there. So I'm not jealous. Like, man, if I was single in Brazil, man, I'd be like, no, I'm never jealous or envious of anybody that's single and enjoying their single life. That's another thing that keeps me faithful. And the other thing that keeps me faithful, lastly, is my wife is my friend. My wife is my friend. She's not just, well, she's my wife. I see a lot of couples walk around when they push the baby stroller and they be looking all sad, like, we tired. This baby got us sleepy. But I understand that they're still doing it together. They're still friends. At the end of the day, they're pushing the baby stroller together. And I'm like that. I like hanging out with my woman. I see, and I'll see a big butt, and I'll be like, man, that looks like Andrea butt. Or I see some thick thighs, I'm like, man, that looks just like Andrea thighs. In other words, it reminds me of, I got that at home, so
yeah. I have a question though. Now you tell me if you've noticed this. I notice a lot of these American couples that come here, I'm talking about where they both Americans. These American married people that come down here, they be freaky.
In what way?
Man, it got to the point where I stopped really going around, because at one point, because I'm a parent,
right,
and I would go to some of these events where they would like invite me, and it would be most of the time it'd be people who were like 10 years older than me. There, they married. Them couples be down here doing, illicit substances together. They be popping pills. They get a little alcohol in them. They start to getting freaky with folks at the party. So I really stopped going around them like that because I'm like, what is this that y'all? What are y'all on down here? Like, I don't know what's in the air. And then a lot of the married women, they would kind of be a little bit envious of me because I'm single. And in their mind, they're like, oh my God, she's sleeping with all the men down here, right? And they would like be hating on me. And I'm like, hold on, sis, I'm not. And second, like, y'all are married. Like, the stuff I've seen between the American married couples down here, it's weird. It gives that Medellin might attract a lot of the swinger community, is what it gives. And they'll try to test you in little ways or kind of like throw something weird. But once I start feeling that energy, I gotta move around. I can't.
Swinger episode. Last month we did the swinger episode. I was in the swinger world for 3 years in Florida, and me, I never was in the swinger world with somebody that I was in a relationship with. I would always bring a female friend. Like, let's say if you was in that world, right? Just hypothetically, and you and I were friends, we never mess with each other in or out of the world, but we pretend just to get in, like we're okay. So that's how I always have my pretend friends, because I know Andre. I can't take.
So was you a swinger for real? You can't technically. You weren't a swinger.
No, I was in there. You
were cosplaying as a swinger.
Yeah, if I was in there, I was running through them.
Yeah, freaky married couples. They be married and freaky.
Like I said, my point was, I agree with you. Married couples do things, and I'm talking about affluent married couples, not broke or poor. I'm talking about some really nice couples that you're like, what?
Oh, no.
I like to do what? So yeah, and I often tell guys the reason that drew me to Cali was the swinger world. Cali is the capital of swinging in Colombia. So I was like, oh, let me go over there. But then I come down here to do my recon for the swinger world, and I meet my wife. And so I never got to walk into that arena. But yeah, you're correct. A lot of couples and a lot of individuals come out down here to get involved in a new genre of swinging that they're probably already accustomed to being in the swinging world in North America. So they say, let me try it out in South America.
Yeah, that's what I haven't confirmed these suspicions, but my spirit of discernment is on point. So I was like, yeah, something going on down here with these married folks.
Yes, that's true. AMSM said this a while back. Shout out to you with the $5 love. He said, everyone has a past. Shaking my head. I'm gonna tell you something, Mariah, that caused me to really want to interview you. The fact that you, like me, do not run from talking about your past. That was probably the number one thing that made me say, I got to get her on the show. Not because you are balanced in what you state, but because you have a air of transparent, because like we often say in the Black church, you can't have a testimony without a test. And so the fact that you were transparent, I was like, oh, so she just like me. Because everybody that's watched this channel knows I did 10 years in the feds. And they're like, Dre, if you never said anything, we wouldn't have known, because you don't carry yourself like that. And so it is with you. If you'd have just said, well, I was a teacher, nobody would have ever known that you were in the stripper world or the dancer world at one point in time, because you don't carry yourself with that type of energy on any of your channels. And even when you say it, it seems kind of like, what? And that's how guys see me. Even when I talk about, so you did 10 years in the feds? I'm like, yeah, I did 10 years in the feds. And a lot of guys think, well, it must have been white collar crime because you don't carry yourself like you did, like you was out there with kilos. I'm like, yeah, I was like any other dude of the late 80s. So be it. But
Yeah.
that's another thing. He said having some manners, have some manners for Andre's guests tonight. Shout out to you, brother. And Perception
Thank
said,
you.
oh yeah. He said, any advice on recommendations for U.S. teachers looking to, this is a good one, looking to teach for teaching jobs in Colombia that pays decent?
You're gonna have to be here's what you can do. If you like teaching and you want to really stay teaching, you're gonna have to go work at an international school or a private school. Understand that you're gonna take a pay cut. So if they're giving you like, between $1,000 and $1,500 a month, that's about the best you're gonna do. Another thing that you can also do, if you really want to teach here, because that would be good because you can get an M visa. And after 5 years, you can do citizenship. Another thing that you can do is get a TEFL certification. Now, write this down if you're interested. Now, this is teaching English as a first language.
Right.
And you can get it for free. I know you can get it for free on this website called Teacher Record. Then what you could do is to supplement the income here, if it's not enough, you could teach English to Chinese kids. So you could get up early in the morning, teach some classes, and then go to work at the school. So you can make side income teaching English to Chinese kids online.
True.
And that might bring you, to about $2,500 a month.
Absolutely.
Which is that's sufficient. That's good here if you're a single person.
Oh yeah. There's a sister that's down here in Colombia, and there's a brother that does it. Danny in China. Shout out to Danny. I think it's Flight Madness is YouTube channel. Flight Madness, I believe. And Danny has been teaching in China and all throughout Southeast Asia, and you can do it also while you're in Colombia or any other country because you're doing it online. And Danny has been teaching, once again, Flight Madness is his YouTube moniker, and he has been doing it for 10 years, almost going on 12 years now, actually, from China. But he could have been anywhere in the world that's doing it. The sister that lives in Medellin, she started when she came in Cali. She was here long before I got here. She's been here going on almost 10, 12 years ago that she came down and was teaching in the school system in Cali, Colombia, now teaches in the school system in Medellin. So this sister's been doing, I'm trying to set everything up to get an interview with her as well. So really nice, great content. And so she's been doing it for a while. And so if any of you guys that are in the arena of education, if you're interested in doing it online or offline, I'm here to tell you, it is possible for you to be able to do that. Don't think that you can't. It's just a few extra steps that you will have to take. But in order to do it, it can be done. Now, when it comes,
some of these schools, like Columbia School, some of these schools will pay for some of your relocation fees and flights. You just have to, the best thing to do though, you're not gonna find these jobs online. The schools here, you need to come on the ground and go talk to them, give them your CV in person. If you are applying online, nobody's ever gonna respond to you. I've just posted, I can't put the .com part, but for those of y'all who would like to get a TEFL certification to teach English, you can go to this website and there's a 120-hour course. I did it in like 3 weeks. Take your time. You can go to this website and they offer it for free, which that's really free game because if you try to go get it from other websites, they're going to charge you like $1,500 for it.
True. So make sure you guys go to Teach Record or teacherrecord.com. Make sure that you guys go in there. It's free. So she giving you guys, black folks, I know y'all like to hook up. So here's a hookup. And make sure that you go ahead and get your certification. Because I actually had mine. Because I actually came down here. One of the things I was going to do initially was teach English when I was down here. So you guys can actually do that if you want to. So make sure that you guys take advantage of this information that we're sharing.
And another thing too is this website also serves as a job board. So maybe you don't want to come to Colombia. You want to go to China or Korea or Japan, which is like their main market. They have job postings on there, you know, for brick and mortar jobs in those locations. So you can find a job on your.
All right. Shout out from Cash App from our brother Aaron Hamilton, Hamlet, my bad. And he said content. He said this is $14 content. He said make sure you give Mariah half. So I'll be making sure I send it over to Mariah. And shout out to our brother. Oh yeah. And shout out to our brother Blade Runner. What are you about to say?
Somebody sent me something too. Sankofa Shakur. Thank you.
Oh, shout out to Kofa. Yes, sir. Appreciate that. And shout out to Blade Runner with the $5 love. Hope you appreciate this content. We're going to be a few more moments because I know Lil Mama, baby Mariah, is waiting for her mama. And I don't want to hold you up too much. And we didn't get a chance to go through all our questions. But that's cool because you know what's going to happen again? Another interview.
Yeah, I can come back. No problem.
Oh, yeah. You part of the family. You don't have a choice now. I wasn't asking.
Okay, great.
I wasn't asking. I was letting you know that you're part of the family now. Oh, yeah. The last thing that I would like to do is because let's hit the last two questions.
I'm sorry. I apologize to you.
Put the government name on. I didn't know that either.
Well, you didn't have to say it was you. I'm sorry.
I didn't know that. You better be fortunate. I didn't remember what it was.
I apologize.
I didn't know.
And I thought about that right after I said it.
Shout out to Average Man Unplugged. Yes, sir. The pineapple life it was. Yes, it was. The pineapple life it was, man. Goodness gracious, man. I got swinger stories upon swinger stories. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cartagena versus Medellin. We're doing two questions. We're going to do this one and then we're going to do the closing. Cartagena versus Medellin. Why Medellin over Cartagena? Just for you.
For me, I already knew that when I came down here to build something and work. And I needed to be where the infrastructure was. First of all, the weather is better here. I don't trust myself right now being in like a beach city. And Cartagena's nightlife is way better than here in Medellin. I don't care what nobody says. So I feel like it would be far more easier to get distracted over there versus here. I don't really have the desire to go out that much here. And the infrastructure is good. Everything that I need is close. And if you have kids, there are more opportunities here for your children, especially if you live in the South. In Envigado, Sabaneta, there are way more activities, opportunities, and educational opportunities here as well. So those were the things I was most concerned about as a single parent.
Okay, you know what? I can understand that, especially because you have to think for two and not just for you.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a real.
But I feel like if you're somebody that's if you're either retired or you got some military income or some type of pension coming in, and you don't have like a growth mindset in terms of trying to build, you're good with your income and you're in a very comfortable place, Cartagena would probably be the better vibe, I say. Okay,
that's a good point. That's a good point. I can't do Cartagena. I ain't gonna lie to you. Two reasons. The floods, because when it floods. Your car floating down the street.
Down here too. It floods very bad down here. It's terrible. In Medellin, it's terrible. Like whole communities get wiped out.
See, here in Cali, we get like baby floods. It ain't that serious for us. That's one thing I can say about Cali. Because Medellin is more. Some areas are more hilly. Some areas are flat land. Most of Cali is flat land. You got certain areas. Go ahead.
These streets will turn into a river, depending on where you're at.
Yeah, see, we don't go through that.
It's better if you don't want to avoid the flooding here. You got to stay in the flatlands of El Poblado, Sabaneta, and Vigado. You know, it doesn't flood bad down here.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a real good point. And last questions in closing, give us some information on the direction of where you're trying to take your channel.
I'm still putting the vision together. I'm still in like the, but I would like to talk more about, I guess, kind of continue on the path that I'm going. I want to actually go travel to some more places. I would like to start putting together like recorded content like on the street. But I want to take my channel to a place where we're having these broader socio-political discussions about what's going on in these countries and like my actual experience. And then I would like to, like, I strongly believe, and I said this before, I'll say it again, all Americans should at least take a sabbatical out of the United States. You don't have to completely relocate. I do think you should do at least 6 months to a year outside of the United States. So like, I'm going to really push that as much as I can on my channel. And like, I feel like there's no reason why we have like one of the strongest passports. We're like number 10. We're in the top 10, number 10 in the world. And I think Americans should utilize that they should go do a sabbatical, if not completely move out of the country for a couple years. And you don't have to be gone forever. So that's one thing that I would love to help people do, help them get that process started, share with them how I did it, and work with them to personalize that experience. Because I tell people all the time, I'm a single mother who worked a teaching job. I didn't come from a rich family. If y'all knew my whole background, you would be like, how are you still here and alive, right? And I was able to do this. And I want to make it my mission to help others understand that you're already in a position to do this. And that's the problem. A lot of people, they think that it can't happen for them, or that it's something that's so far away. All I did was work with what was available to me, and within 6 months, I was gone.
Wow, 6 month window. That's what's up. Shout out to my man James Palmer with the $20 love over on the Cash App. Appreciate you, brother. And the next portion of your closing is: do you do consultations, or do you do any type of workshops that individuals who are interested in how you go about relocating in a 6 month window? Are you offering anything that guys will be able to work with or use, take advantage of?
Okay, so what I have going on right now, on the 23rd, I have a relocation to Colombia workshop. And what that is I have 2 sessions. There are 10 seats available in each session. And it's very economical. It's a $27 workshop. And within that period, we talk about your visa options, how to get an apartment. I'm going to have my friend who is a Colombian American therapist. She's going to be my special guest, and she's going to answer all of y'all's questions about social adjustments. So we're going to give y'all all these resources that you can use to tap in with the community when you get here, safety tips, culture, relationships, best neighborhoods to live in. It's a really extensive workshop with the Q&A. Starting this week, I haven't opened my schedule up for that, but I will be doing one-on-one consultations for the people who need like help that's very specific to their situation. But I would say start with the relocation workshop on the 23rd, and it's already open. You can go register. I also, for those of y'all who need to get off of Google Translate, I also do private Spanish lessons on there. And we'll start at beginner level and work you up to where you need to be. So when you go here, you're not completely confused.
All right. And also,
my website is MARIAH Sincere Travels. I'll put it in the chat.
All right. Great. Perfect. MARIAH Sincere Travel. And while you're typing that, my brother T-Mac, who's in Medellin right now, he's a retired and a veteran. I have local employees for 6 years in Medellin. He say, I started a SAS corporation, which is Colombia's version of the incorporations, or the LLC, in other words, beyond that. Corporate Medellin. He say, been a resident in Colombia for 5 years. I need to get you two together. I kid you not.
Yeah, I see T-Mac, he comes in there in my on my lives too.
Yeah, you need to get you need to.
So he's pretty cool.
Hey, T-Mac, let me know if it's okay if I give Mariah your information, because you got connections and you got your hands in all type of pots throughout Colombia.
Yeah, I would love to meet with him.
And
also, for those of y'all who are going to be in town,
mhm.
If y'all go on my Instagram page, Mariah Sincere, and y'all would like to meet me or whatever the case may be, on the 16th, this Saturday, there is an event called R and Barrio, and it's being thrown by Medellin Unseen, if you're familiar with them. And so they still have some tables available. I'm going to be there. It's going to be a lot of old school, a grown and sexy vibe.
There we go.
Grown and sexy. If y'all want to come, I will be there talking to people, helping host.
And what's the name of it one more time?
It's called R and Barrio, but go to Medellin Unseen on Instagram, and they have the event posted. And if you want to get a table, you can contact the number on the flyer. Also, if you go to my Instagram page, Mariah Sincere, I have a flyer with all the information posted.
I saw that. I know exactly what you're talking about now. I saw a flyer that you posted a few days back, but I didn't know what it was for. And I know, as I said, well, that's got to be a Medellin thing.
It's a Medellin thing, but the people who are hosting it are like, it's going to be American DJ, like it's that kind of event.
Oh, there we
go. But a lot of Colombians will be there too.
All right. Get your Chicago step on. Okay. All right. And second part of T-Mac's super chat says this. He say, been a resident in Colombia for 5 years and have a Colombian daughter, and appreciate you sharing.
Thank you, T-Mac.
41 countries. Shout out to you, T-Mac.
Yeah, he's always cool.
Oh, yeah. Good man. He's always down here in Cali as well. And Blade Runner in the building once again. This is Blade Runner. Okay. Shout out to Blade Runner once again.
Hey, Blade Runner, come on to the R&B Barrio.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He said, on a quick flight to Colombia for a weekend, dropping in for a hot minute. We'll catch up on the replay. Shout out to you, brother. Part of the replay crew. Glad that you're here. Let me make sure I got everybody over here, because I don't want to miss out on anyone. All right, got everybody over there. And let's end it with, we already looked at your contact information. So let's end it with your future. Are you thinking about being in Colombia for, you like, you know what, let me give Colombia a few years? Or are you even now considering, I might want to relocate? And the reason why I say that, and I'll tell you why, this a method to my madness that I picked up from watching you. You have to think for two and not just for one.
No, I'll be completely honest. So there are a few other places that I would like to go do, like, a month to 3 month stays in, but I don't have a set mindset. This is one thing I will say. If I stay in Colombia, just because I'm like, I don't have any delusions about the culture, I will probably be single forever. Because I already am the way that I am. So I feel like if I chose to stay in Colombia, that would mean that I made a commitment to being single forever. I'm just being honest. I don't know. I think what I have been looking into is possibly going and staying in the islands like Puerto Rico, and then during hurricane season coming and staying in Colombia every year. That way I can still come do my content, but then I'd be in the island, so I can go island hop and show people different island cultures. So I actually think that would probably be the better option, because I don't like worrying about like visas and things like that.
Right.
So yeah, it is possible that y'all will see me relocating to Puerto Rico and then coming down here from like August all the way until like December every year. Just kind of depends.
I know a lot of guys do that.
And I am going to branch out and go stay in other parts of Colombia. That is for certain.
Well, you are always welcome to Cali. Come on
Thank you.
down here for a few months and realize, like, you know what? I'm at home. I'm at home. I'm telling you. Oh, you laughing. You come
Yeah,
down,
no,
you
I think
get
I'm gonna have
booed
a
up.
great time. I believe you.
Yeah. All right. So in closing, do you have, let me let you have your closing and let guys know, we already went over what your future is. We already went over what you are planning to do and what countries that you're thinking about or islands that you're thinking about representing. And at the end of the day, you showcase that whether it be male or female, that all of us can create fair content. And so I appreciate all that you are doing and continue to do. I want to give you your flowers right now. You are doing wonderful work. I'm going to let you know that I want to give you a free YouTube consultation that I'm going to set it up. And there's so many things that I sit back and I look at your content that I'm like, does she know what? She could be doing this or she could be doing that. She needs to do this. She needs to do that. And so there, yeah.
Thank you. That's a blessing. I appreciate you, because I need all the help I can get over here.
Yeah, I got you. I got your back. I kid you not, because I'm looking at your content, really great content. I'm like, so she just doing this, but you're doing things that Andre and I started off initially doing, but no, that's not what we're doing now. So at the end of the day, there are advancements that are taking place, whether it be AI, ChatGPT, how to drop videos. People sit back and look at me like, man, you guys drop videos like all day long, Andre, on all your platforms. How you guys doing this? I'm going to show you how we do this step by step. It's real simple. I ain't put all them hours in. So that is definitely one of the things that we want to do. So in closing, I want to, did I mention my book?
Because I don't have one.
Yeah, our book is I have 3 books that I've written. I've got one that I've written called Any Place is Possible and Anywhere is Possible. And it is about that people don't know that you can live in 60% of the planet for less than $2,500 to $3,000 a month and live comfortably. A lot of people don't realize you can live in the suburbs of many countries for between $25,000 to $3,000 a month. And so I wrote a book step by step how to do that. I wrote a book in regards to the 44 laws of travel. One of my laws that I love to mention all the time is all in the family. When you're looking for somebody to date, it's all in the family. If you want to see how they're going to be, I don't care if they're the nicest person, look at their family. Their family's going to answer all your questions. And then the last book that I just recently wrote is called Stop Making Excuses. And then I have another one just for men called The Unstoppable Man that I'm going to be launching in a few weeks. And some of the guys that gave donations when we gave to the Children's Cancer Foundation in December, they're going to be getting a copy of that Unstoppable Man. And it is kind of like chicken soup for the soul. And chicken soup for the soul is like stories. So what I took is like when men that were in problematic moments, how did these men overcome it? So I've got stories from Bruce Lee all the way to Warren Buffett, all the way to Jeff Bezos, all the way to Kevin Samuels, just stories of men when they had problematic moments. How did how do they overcome these situations and allow themselves to become unstoppable men? And so,
That's
or
awesome.
even unshakable men. And so that's what the next book that I'm launching next month is going to be about.
Okay, well, I look forward to reading those books.
Oh yeah. And in closing, give us your closing statements in regards to just encouraging the audience.
Yeah, my closing statement is there's nothing that you can't bounce back from. You got to remember that as you going about your day-to-day life. You having a bad day, you have a goal, just understand life comes with its ups and downs. That's what comes with it. You can't have the good without the bad. There's nothing you can't bounce back from. And, you know, everything is always working out in your favor. So keep going, keep your head up. If this is something that you want to do and you haven't done yet, it's coming. Just keep a positive attitude through it all.
All right. All right. And that's absolutely correct. Attitude equals your altitude, according to the minister Chuck Swindoll, who said that. Shout out to all you guys that are here. Appreciate every one of you that are here. We're about to do an outro video. You guys know how we do. We'll be seeing you guys mañana. And I don't know what tomorrow's topic is. I already have everything set up, but I don't have it memorized. But we're glad that you guys are here. Thank you guys once again for all the cash app, super chat, and support. I'm going to send Mariah half of this that you guys have donated, as well as shout out to all you gentlemen that continue to support the channel of Andre and Andres Love Crossing Borders, and all the ladies that dare to tread this channel. We appreciate you as well. Let's do a outro video. We'll just do one. Scroll up. See which outro video we'll do. We will do we'll do the salsa one.
Vamos a bailar. Ay, la sala está llena de gente, cuerpos sudorosos acá. La pista está hirviendo, pero te destaca, mamá, brillando como una estrella. Mira qué bonita está. Escucha el coro, mamita, que te voy a dar. Sandunguera, sandunguera, baranchera, vamos a bailar. Vamos a bailar. Baranchera, vamos a bailar. Ay, siempre un paso para adelante, después un paso para atrás. Ahora te suelto, mamita, muévete con el ritmo que va. Sandunguera, te estoy llamando, mira qué bonita estás. Escucha el coro de nuevo, que te voy a dar. Sandunguera, sandunguera, baranchera, vamos a bailar. Vamos a bailar, vamos a gozar. Sandunguera, baranchera, vamos a bailar. Ay, sandunguera linda, vamos a bailar tú y yo. Ay, qué sabroso. Vamos a bailar, mi nena linda, vamos a gozar. Vamos a gozar. Muévete, sandunguera, vamos a guarachar. Ay, repítelo. Vamos a bailar, mi nena linda, vamos a gozar. Ay, vamos a guarachar, mamá. Sandunguera, vamos a guarachar. Oye, mira, mami, vamos a gozar, vamos a bailar, vamos a gozar. Juntos tú y yo en la pista, mami. Vamos a guarachar. Ahora estamos tú y yo en la pista. Vamos a gozar. Ay, esa cosa que me hiciste, mami, me gustó. Vamos a guarachar. Muévete bien, chiquita. Vamos a gozar. Mueve tu cuerpo y tu cinturita. Vamos a guarachar. Oye, el ritmo te está llamando ahora. Vamos a gozar. Este ritmo es para guarachar, señora. Vamos a guarachar. Ay, camina con el mambo ahí. Vamos a gozar. Si mamá guerrera, oye, Lola. Vamos a guarachar. Vamos a guarachar. Vamos a bailar. Vamos a gozar. gozar. Ay, qué rico está, qué rico.